What is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 270. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
Sup, people? Get ready for some questions.
Carlos Romero.
Yo, what up?
Adam Vale. What up, humans?
I didn't hear you. I heard you cut out just when you said
Words like that, man. Do your fucking intro then, man.
what up, human? What you wearing?
Yeah. Mr. Brett Murdoch.
Hold on. What's up, people?
I love it. And, of course, Mr. Brian Munjoma.
I like how Brett's actually on time this time.
Yeah, right? By the way, I love how, because usually, I just find it funny that the guy who's always the latest is the white dude, you know? And we're a bunch of minorities in this bitch. It's hilarious. So, no Chris action. He has jury duty, people.
Oh, did he get selected?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
So
Neck tattoo got me out of mine.
Yeah.
He could have just said, "I believe that all people are convicted criminals until proven innocent."
Hey, that's my belief, man.
Here's the funny thing. Like, I said the same thing, and then you actually get there, and when people talk about like your civic duty, there's like a weird sense. You're like, I mean, like this is something that I'm supposed to be kind of taking seriously. So I guess I should like. It's something that everybody's supposed to take part of, and the system doesn't work if everybody does it. You kind of realize that, and then they drill it in your head, and you're like, ugh, fine. Answer responsibly, answer truthfully. Neck tattoo still got me out of it though. Like I wanted to be like, yes, I believe that unless he was wearing a tinfoil hat at the time, then nobody could really prove that he's in control of his own actions, and then be dismissed. But no, you get to that point, and you're like, it's kind of like voting. Like, you know, you're like, I want to vote for fucking the Hamburglar. Then you get to the point where you're like, I'm going to write the Hamburglar in. This is wildly irresponsible. I really shouldn't do that.
Yeah, man. All right,
you're not 20 or 19 years old.
Yeah, be responsible, man. All right, a couple of things here. So I want to give a shout out to the crew, all of you guys in here right now, for holding it down for Throwdown episode 270 while Shaboy was away. Carlos was here, but even though he was with me, we can't tell you half the shit that happened to us in New Orleans, man. Yo,
we can't tell them 75% of the things.
Oh yeah, I think that's more accurate. Yeah, 75%. Yo.
I mean, we're all aware that what happens in New Orleans generally stays in New Orleans.
Oh, in this case it does, or in the post show. You know, yo.
I had to say no. Same with my Hawaii. Like I wasn't gonna tell you guys everything about my Hawaii trip.
My man, Brett. I'll talk to you off air, man. I got some stories. Me and Carly got some stories, bro. Goose, what's going on, man? He's like, welcome back, Tone. I am back, baby. So until probably E3, I'll be here like normal. So don't worry about that. But again, the beautiful thing is we have contingencies, right? If I'm gone, Manny takes over. Manny's somehow gone. Carl's like, yo, we got contingencies on contingencies, man, because we pride ourselves in not missing an episode.
Yep,
that's how we do things right here. And also,
yeah, we're not gonna be here. It might just be me, like half drunk with my cat, but we'll pull together something.
We may even get like guys that look like and sound like us. You know what I'm saying? Like you won't even tell the difference. That'll be hilarious.
The reasonable facsimiles of everybody. They're just kind of weird, distorted versions of us all.
Not the expensive ones. The slightly cheaper versions.
Of course, yeah. Listen, our budget ain't that high. You know what I'm saying? Remember Spaceballs? It'll be like the fucking the stunt doubles. Yo. By the way, quick observation, because I was listening to the last episode that you guys did. I always find it hilarious how when I'm not around, there's almost next to no cursing on this episode, on the show. And meanwhile, you heard this shit, the intro. I curse right from the beginning. It just happens,
I mean, in general, I don't curse that much. No. But I do also think that you also dictate a sort of energy that everybody kind of loosens up a little bit too.
It happens, man.
Yeah. In my defense, I was busy getting a tattoo together last time, so I wasn't here to swear as much. I was only half present.
Yeah, because Brett, you're the second biggest swearer on this show.
Yeah. I vow to double down this weekend and swear my motherfucking ass off. Just to make it up to you assholes.
Yeah. By the way, I can't say this story on air, right? We went to this really nice restaurant. Best fucking vanilla ice cream we ever had in our lives, son. God damn.
It's ridiculous. And we didn't even pay for it.
Excuse me? Yeah, they give it to us for free. So anyway, what happened is, Brett, you're gonna love this. So one of the waitresses, right, like she comes up to me and she's like, "Sir, we're gonna have to tell you to calm down on the cursing." Right? And you know what I say to her? Are you fucking kidding me? That calmed her ass down. So she's like, "Oh shit."
That's beautiful. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, well, I mean, it would be appreciated if you know what, never mind. You seem like you're a busy guy.
Yeah, look, because when she came, and we weren't, Carlos could vouch for this. We weren't sure if she was for real or not, But in my mind, I'm like, "Yo, we're paying all this fucking money. Get that." So I was like, "Are you fucking serious right now?" She backed the fuck off. It's like, maybe,
Nah, she was like, she said, "I'm joking." Remember?
Yeah,
I'm joking. I'm like, I don't think so.
Nice try.
Yeah, good one.
Hey
But
guys, I need you to shut up. No, that's fine. I was just joking anyway.
Yeah, exactly, man. So yeah, shout out to you guys for holding it down. And
you're like, do I have to get out of this motherfucking chair?
Yeah. Am I gonna have to choke a bitch?
That's just what happens when you get a New Yorker out of New York. I think the only thing that keeps you guys docile is your perpetual fear of of all of each other. Because when I visited New York, you guys were generally pretty calm and quiet. But you guys get out of New York, that's when you're like, I don't have to worry about other New Yorkers here. Nobody's gonna fucking stab me. Fuck you!
Exactly, man. It's crazy. Also, shout out to Mr. Torrance Davis, who was on. And, Torrance is always a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. It was great to have him on. And we did a Throwdown first. We managed to keep Torrance for the whole episode. Granted, he was dozing a little bit toward the end.
Yeah, well, Torrance is, man.
Yeah, he actually, you can actually see it on our but he was actually going to be getting up at 5 a.m. in the morning, so he was like really cutting it close.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. All right, so before we start, okay, one thing we always do on this show, right? We always try to step things up a little bit, and if you guys have been watching us from the beginning, there's always been little gradual changes here and there, right? So now we're going to have a new thing right now, which I think you guys are going to like, right? I want to give a shout out to one of our listeners, Christina, who was wondering, like, hey, can you guys have, like, the questions on the actual, like, screen and stuff? Here's the funny thing about that. We used to do that. Back in the original version of, not even original, the early episodes of this, we used to actually have a graphic, that had the question, the full question, right? And I'll let Manny take over and answer this, but it just got to be a little too much because there were individual images,
Yeah. What we used to do was, like, when we used to get our questions before it was like, we put on a limit. Each person had like one question or so, and then I just pull together a graphic and then essentially just keep on throwing it up there.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, we'll definitely try to figure out a way to get this to work nowadays, especially with the way OBS works now. What you can do now, Tony, is actually, you can put text inside of OBS and
that's exactly what I'm doing, because I looked into it. It's like, oh shit, I could just type in questions. So it's because here's the thing, with this show, this is kind of your show, and for us, it's kind of like a little bit low budget type of show. Not in disparaging, but we're trying to do this thing mad quick, right? So now we found a way to get the questions up there, and just have it really fast. And I'm going to extend that to the regular show, whatever topic we're talking about. I'll just have it up there, or up there somewhere,
Yeah, we'll try to redesign it a little bit, and so we can see it.
Yeah, so that's that, man. So without further ado, and we're gonna test it out because if we need to adjust the graphics or whatever, we will. But let's get it up there, man. We got our first question. Let's see how this looks.
Oh, what you doing? I'm gonna see this.
Yeah, you guys will see it on Twitch. So this is the short version. Nice. Yeah, this is the short version of the question, obviously. You know what I'm saying? Because you guys write some long shit. As a matter of fact, Mr. Goose has some long questions. He starts off, he goes, my questions are usually long-winded, and I thank Romudet for still letting me participate and asking them out loud to the panel. Bro, I'm telling you right now, these are not the longest questions we've gotten. Shout out to B. Will, who writes novels, man. But
shout out.
Yeah, shout out to B. Will, man. All right, so my man's first question is, Sony and Nintendo have some of the most valuable IPs in their respective catalogs. Microsoft has Halo, Gears, and Forza. It's a cliche to say that it's a cliche to say that, but the point is their IPs aren't as varied as their competitors. My question is the following. Would you folks like to see Microsoft invest in new IPs or dig deeper into their back catalog and reboot things like Perfect Dark, Project Gotham, and games like that? Good question.
Nope. IPs. IPs.
Yeah,
IPs.
Look,
Yeah,
it's not 1995 anymore. It's like that's they. I actually come to think of it. When did the first Xbox come out?
Not 2001.
2001. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a minute. So being 2020 now, the identity that this console was built on, and I'll grant you it has evolved some over the years, but its principal identity was founded just about 2 decades ago. It's kind of a dated idea. The action gamer. I'm not sure if like any of you are old enough to remember, other than us assholes, but like it was the epitome of 90s culmination extremism. The big fucking green X on everything was like it was the direct Xbox, but you pretty much heard the being like it's the extreme box.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so it leaned really heavily on that, and that's where a lot of its identity grew from multiplayer kind of bro gaming, and that's fine. That's a good place to start as any. But I want to say we've kind of evolved as an industry since then. So I think it would behoove Microsoft to reinvent themselves and not back themselves into the corner of just games as activities and games as friends. They're overlooking games as narrative, which I think is pretty much the one leg that Sony is leaning on. Sony is just the fucking opposite. Yes, you're good with games as narrative, but you're not good as games as activity or games online competitively.
Yeah.
It's just.
I do want to say this. I think Microsoft is about to have some new IPs soon, from a lot of these studios that they got. So that'll definitely help.
Looks like they're trying. Like I gotta give Microsoft props for all the because apparently all you guys hear is us talk shit on Microsoft. But for the most part, I don't think I'm alone here. Got to give it to Microsoft. They are trying a lot of new things, jumping in a lot of new directions. They're trying to pander to their fan base and make their customers happy. They're not doing it by being exploitative for the most part. Like this is generally one of the better launches in a while.
I mean, here's the thing. I don't exactly think that they're sort of pandering to the fan base. I think they're trying to widen it. I think they've been trying to widen it for quite a long time.
Well, they're trying to make their fan base
pandering to the fan base is essentially just doing Halo and Years of War games over and over again. That's you ever heard the saying that nobody this was like a crazy version of it, but it's like customers don't exactly know what they want until you show it to them.
No, I absolutely agree with that. But the problem is if you're going to go the direction of showing it to them, you really have to play into and you have to pander to the things that have made them happy. You have to give them the things that they loved and more. You can't just suddenly come in and be like, this is going to be the new thing. Yeah. So they've kept their tried and true staple. They've kept their Gears. They've kept their Halo. But now they're going to keep that, but now they're trying to branch out other stuff. So they're going to satisfy their core audience and try and widen it to bring others in, which is normally people only get one of those two things. If they're trying to widen the audience, it's usually at the expense of the customers who got them there. So I guess I'm just really trying to say, like, I really like the fact that they're keeping their core franchises, but widening the pool. It seems to be the most customer-friendly option.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think we have a similar question about, what we can expect from Microsoft later, but, this generation or next generation, but it's definitely being interesting. It's like they're definitely, because they know they can't compete directly with Sony and Nintendo. We're going to get to that in a bit, or you guys even covered that too, but so I think what they're trying right now is pretty interesting. So, and we're going to see, if it's successful, will others follow suit? Who knows, but to the heart of the question, yeah, new IPs are always good. Sony has so many IPs, it's ridiculous. Microsoft needs to compete because, again, what do people think about? Forza, Gears, Halo, and that's it. I was talking to Manny earlier, and we were thinking about it would be cool for the end of the year if we had all of Sony's mascots versus all of Microsoft's mascots. And I'm like, who's their mascots? Marcus Phoenix, Master Chief in a car. Let's just be real here,
Exactly.
Now from Crackdown.
Yeah, right. So yeah, anybody else want to jump in on this? Microsoft, new IPs or reboots?
Just they need to create new. That's it. There's no need for reboot. We already got all the ones that anybody would want, which is of course Gears and Halo.
Yo, Adam, I'm feeling the lighting in your room right now, bro. It's like a real arcade. Oh wait, now it's back to normal. God damn it. He doesn't even know what the fuck's going on.
He was in He's in a fucking James Cameron movie right there.
You know,
I'm doing all this fucking Neo Geo shit, man. Fuck Neo Geo. Why am I?
why are you playing with that shit, man? All right. Anyway, let's move on to the next question, which I will pop up
don't
here.
work.
And what's cool is I could change the questions like behind the scenes and stuff, and nobody will be the wiser. All right.
Yes.
So the next question from Goose is: PS4 has an amazing library of first-party exclusives, but they have been mostly one note insofar as they stick to the same formula, i.e., single-player narrative-focused games. I'm of the opinion that the PS3 has the better first-party library. It is more varied and gave everyone a bit of everything. We had the Uncharted's, we had the Infamouses, we had the Killzones, but we also had solely multiplayer titles like MAG, SOCOM Confrontation, Warhawk. What do you fellas say? Which console had the better library, the PS3 or the PS4? Damn, son.
You think that's a hard question?
It's easy. PS3.
Yeah, it's PS3.
Yeah.
That's it.
But here's the thing, which had a better library, PS3 or PS2?
PS2.
PS2.
Are we starting to notice a trend here that we're getting fewer and fewer games?
I still say PS.
No. That's what I'm saying. Like the further
I
back you
agree.
go, the
Yeah.
better the library gets. We've been going on a steady decline of, like, I want to say even back to fucking Super Nintendo. Like ever since the initial collapse of Nintendo and the gaming industry, ever since it rebuilt itself, we reached a golden age. And granted, games were easier and cheaper to develop back then, but the libraries have been getting smaller and less impressive as time goes on.
Well, I mean, the thing is, it's like because to make those again, just like anything, the more investment that you have to make, the less that you have to put out.
Mhm.
So
No,
if
I
games,
agree for the reason.
if games were cheaper to make and didn't need like 1,000 people to make them, yeah, you would see a lot more games coming out more often.
Yeah. By the way, Goose, who's also in the chat right now, says the guy with the fireplace gets it. Yo, his name is Brett, man. Put respect on that name, motherfucker.
For real.
I love it.
He's like,
Fireplace
he's like
guy.
put a name tag on all those images.
Yeah, fireplace man. You know, the fireplace is lit though. Wink, wink. I'm a fucking idiot right now. So we're in agreement, right? PS3 had the better library.
Oh yeah.
Most
Yeah, that was
definitely.
the PS3. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we need
And-
to. Yeah, excuse me.
For people that are gonna try to bring out a lot of the PS3 games are on the PS4 because they were remastered. Like Last of Us, and screw you.
Yeah, but hold on. What does that tell you about the PS3 library though?
Yeah, it was
Right?
better.
It was so better.
So great that you had to enjoy it again.
Exactly, man. Yeah, I don't think we need to really go deeper into this. I think we got it.
Yep.
All right, next question here. Oh, I gotta center it. I see it. We're still working out the kinks here, people. Yeah, it's gonna stay like that. I don't care. All right. The next question is from Black Metal Gamer, man. Only one question from him this week. With Mario Kart 8 selling so well for Nintendo, do you think they are brewing a Mario Kart 9, or do you think they'll add more DLC content to further continue 8's player base, kind of like how GTA 5 is with their online? Actually, okay, so we do have two questions from him. So that's the first question. So do you think we're going to get Mario Kart 9, or are we going to get DLC for 8?
Well, you saw that tweet from that insider or whatever, the guy who finds all the rumors. I forgot his fucking name.
Emily Rogers.
No, there's a guy. Fuck, I follow him on Twitter. Anyway, he finds all
Jason
shit.
Schreier, man?
No. There was just another guy, and he hinted, and the guy's been on a roll, and he hinted that it had something to do with a wheel. It was like Rev Your Engines or something. He made some little remark. He didn't want to give it away, but I have a feeling it's going to be another Mario Kart. It just makes sense, because think about it. Even the Mario Kart that we've been playing all these years with Switch is old. That's the Wii U.
It's a Wii U game.
Yeah.
It's an old one.
Brian,
So
it's a Wii U game.
Oh wow, you actually know of one.
they've had plenty of time to do it, to make another one. So
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
so.
so. I think so too.
it just makes sense.
I mean, what is it? I'm pretty sure we still have at least 5 more years with the Switch, and I think there's going to be way more years. The Switch is going to last a while. So
that shit ain't going nowhere anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll have a 9 coming out for a Switch version for sure before the life cycle ends.
Yeah, because you're right. It's like, because MK8, not Mortal Kombat 8, it's an old game. So what, you're gonna keep adding DLC to an old ass game? I think it makes more sense to just have a 9. You know.
That was the plan. At least, remember, there was a rep that talked about, they wanted to focus more on DLC for the older titles to bring new life. And of course, with the success of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch, he said it made sense to add some more DLC.
Yeah.
That never happened. It never happened. So unless, I doubt they're going to do it now. I think at this point, because it's already 3 years in of the life cycle, it's just like, fuck, make a new one. Just give us a new version. I'm sure there's a team working on it.
Yeah, and I mean, even for a game like Mario, I can see another Mario coming out for the Switch. So, yeah, definitely. Why not even a Mario Kart 8? I mean, Mario Kart.
Yeah, I just don't care. Like, I played Mario Kart 8. I'm like, whatever. You know.
Yeah,
Well, to be honest, it's not your. To be honest, it's not your. It's not your thing. You like you like the original one, and you're like, you kind of feel like there really shouldn't have been any more after that. Anyway,
No, I don't feel that way. I just don't care. But the thing is, you can say that about most Nintendo games in general. For me, I just don't really care. You know.
Well, let me pose it. Like, I think there's kind of a flaw in the reasoning and the foundation of this. The way that Grand Theft Auto makes money is primarily through shark cards, not DLC. I don't think that comparing Mario Kart to GTA model is comparing apples to apples. Number one. It was in the question.
It was in the question. It was in the question.
Okay.
That's literally in the question. You know.
Gotcha. I thought one of us said.
No,
that.
it's in the question.
It's
in the question. Yeah.
No. It's they're just different things. Like, they could appear the same on the surface, but they work completely different. They generate income completely different. The financial model is completely different. They're not the same beast at all. That's number one. So I would say, like, you can't really take GTA as an example of something like Mario Kart would fill. Other games maybe where you're trying to do like a life activity, but not Mario Kart, not kart racing. It's just not going to be a match. Number two, my question would be, they've made 8 of them. Where would you even get the idea that we're not going to make a 9th? And I'm not trying to come across as a dick, even though I'm pretty sure, because this is just the tone of voice that I always have, that I'm coming across as a dick, but I mean that genuinely. Like, why would they stop at 8?
You know,
I think Brett, the question was, I mean, maybe I'm misinterpreting it. I think the question's more like for the Switch, not just in general. Like, there's obviously going to be a Mario Kart 9, but is there going to be another Mario Kart 9 for the Switch, since Mario Kart 8 is already super popular and it's the best-selling game for the Switch? So would they just release new DLC and keep it going, and then release Mario Kart 9 for whatever the next Nintendo console handheld?
No, they'll just release DLC. They'll keep Mario Kart 9 in the back pocket until Nintendo Switch sales start to drop, and then they'll announce it and they'll spike the fuck back up. They can use these system-selling games as a way to promote or continue the life of the system. And I bet you the next Switch is going to be some sort of backwards compatible. I mean, we talk about it like it's a huge fucking thing, but Nintendo's been doing that shit with handhelds for years.
Yeah.
And it's just old news. Like, if they came out with a Switch 2 that could still play Switch 1 games, people would be like, oh my god, it's backwards compatible. Like, yeah, like all the fucking Nintendo handhelds. Like, every once in a while, they'll do a leap and retcon half your catalog into no service, but for the most part, Nintendo's pretty good in their handhelds about being backwards compatible. Am I wrong on that?
With their handhelds,
now with Monster Hunter and the 3DS.
Yeah.
Still haven't had any GameCube games on these things.
Yeah, well, he's talking about handhelds. We're not talking about the consoles.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's the consoles that we care about. Fuck them.
Yeah, you know. All right, before we move on, yo, Sketch, what's going on, brother?
Yo.
He says, good to see you safe from your trip. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Me and Carlos are safe and sound, man. We're not too worse for the wear, you know?
Not that safe.
Yeah, yo. Man. All right, people. Yeah, you know. All right, let's move on, man. Where the fuck are we right now? Next question up. I really do like having the questions up there. It's crazy right now. So the next question is, compared to Microsoft and Sony's attach rate, why do you think Nintendo has the highest percentage attach rate? Here's my question about it. I wish Chris was here for this one because I could have sworn I read something the other day saying that PS4 has the highest attach rate of the current gen systems. You know,
Well,
but
probably
yeah.
I think that's right, but I think first party Nintendo blows the water over anybody.
Oh yeah, yeah. Can I just say what everybody's thinking? What else do
Uh, pro-
What else do Nintendo fans have?
under-
Let's just be real here. You know.
well, kind of. Yeah, I see what your point is. But yeah, Nintendo's first party is zeitgeist stuff.
Yeah.
PS4 first party stuff is not zeitgeist stuff. Uncharted is not zeitgeist stuff. Fucking God of War is not zeitgeist stuff. Even though it's pretty damn popular. Well, Spider-Man's only zeitgeist stuff that's like a first party Sony title. Um, so yeah, that like Nintendo, like Mario, Zelda, uh, Luigi, all of those things. Those
Luigi.
things, everyone knows about these properties. So that's why like everyone is excited for the next iteration, and people like parents. It's an easy gift for kids. You know, when parents need to give a video game to their kids, they always get them Nintendo for sure.
Yeah. Goose is right. The question really should be why do Nintendo first parties have a higher attach rate than the others?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carlos, I kind of half disagree with you there.
Uh-oh.
Like,
Of
I understand, like where you're going in that they are quote unquote zeitgeist, but I don't think they are like zeitgeist stuff. Like, I've not heard anyone talk about um Luigi's Mansion 3. But I
Well,
do
yeah.
have another answer, which I'm guessing that you guys will all get and already know. Mario.
Yeah, Mario is
Who's
zeitgeist.
Mario?
But the thing is, Luigi is
Put
to the
Mario on
extent.
anything, and then it just sells like hotcakes.
That is true.
I think
Brian?
that's why.
Brian, I understand the Luigi argument, but I mean, I'll raise you Pokemon. You know, like Pokemon is zeitgeist for sure. Mario, Pokemon, like
Okay.
Mario Kart.
So then you could say that the reason why is that they are selling the same games, or the games that have been they are iterations on the same games, or they're long-standing games, or long-standing franchises. Like with Microsoft and Sony, you don't get many long-standing franchises. I mean, most of the franchises on the PS1 don't exist anymore. There's Gran Turismo, and what else? Like at least Microsoft have at least Halo from the OG Xbox. Everything else is kind of like somewhere else, you know? So you could say that it's long-standing franchises, and people just grew up with that, and hence they have some sort of attachment to it. But I don't think that it's just because that they are in the zeitgeist. Because I think it's fair to say that PlayStation are more in the zeitgeist than Microsoft is. So then, well, that's true as well. But still, yeah, then Nintendo is.
Oh, no, wait a
Wait a
minute.
minute.
Wait a minute here. Uh, kids are all getting Nintendo products, right? They're getting their Switches. I guarantee you that their parents played on a Nintendo. I guarantee you all their parents played on a Nintendo at one point of their in time when they were growing up. But I can't guarantee you they played PlayStation. What happened?
No, I think that kids are getting their PS4s.
Kids are getting their PS. No, I mean kids are getting PS4s and they're getting their Nintendos. But what I'm saying is, the kids getting their Nintendos, their parents more than likely played on a Nintendo before, so they know what's up with they know what's up with the Nintendo products. They know Mario, they know Zelda, they know Mario Kart, they know Pokemon. And PlayStation, like it's kind of your argument and my argument at the same one. It's like parents don't know what the hell God of War is. I'm sure a lot do, but not like Mario, not like Pokemon, not like Zelda. That's why I said zeitgeist stuff, because when I say Nintendo is part of the zeitgeist and their first party, kids and parents know about all the Nintendo IPs. But I wouldn't say maybe a lot of the kids know the PlayStation IPs, but I'm pretty sure most of their parents don't know about them.
Okay, I'm willing to see that.
Are you willing to cede that point, Brian?
Well, it's a valid point. Yeah, it makes sense. The parents grew up with the franchises, so hence they are aware of it. So when they have kids and they're thinking, okay, let's get some games for my kids. Like, oh, I'll get them games that I played. Look at Adam here. Like, he's a
I do
perfect
it
example
all.
of that.
I do it all the time. Yep.
All right, man. Brett,
Until they rebel.
yeah, Brett, what's your take on this, bro? I want to hear yours. Being our de facto Nintendo guy now.
On what exactly?
Why do you think Nintendo first-party games have a higher attach rate than PS4 or Xbox first-party games?
Because Nintendo generally puts more effort into developing their own games.
Damn, my man just said it.
I mean, dude, it's fucking on. Like, come on, like, they're considering they're working with limited hardware. Like, Nintendo puts a lot of love and a lot of fan service into the games. Like, yeah, Sony does that kind of shit too. Every once in a while, we get a God of War and a Spider-Man. How many more of those are there? Nintendo delivers that shit like 8 out of 10 games. They've cultivated a very loyal fan base that doesn't really have to worry about whether the next version is going to be good. They haven't been burned by Nintendo. It's one of those things like, I very rarely be like, I'm going to try this Nintendo game, and then like, man, this game fucking sucks. Most of the time, the games are significantly even better than I expected. I have really yet to be let down a lot.
Except for that Star Fox game.
I didn't play that one.
And Other M, but that's not them.
No, Other M, no, we don't talk about that.
We do not speak of that here on Throwdown.
But yeah, I mean, like, name me another company that has as many hit first-party games in a row as Nintendo.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think anyone's going to dispute that. You know, Nintendo definitely has the most iconic first-party characters out there. So I guess that's why they have the highest attachment.
No. It's not even that they have the most iconic first-party characters. It's that they have consumer confidence. It's that you'll pre-order a Nintendo game without fear of it turning into a turd sandwich and then trying to staple on microtransactions. Like, Nintendo is a bitch in their own way. They always have been. Like, they charge you out the ass for peripherals, but for the most part, they're not going to do a Battlefield type thing.
Can I argue one point, Brett?
Uh-oh.
Sure, you can argue as many as you'd like.
I'll take one at the moment, please.
Right.
I disagree with the term because Nintendo gives more effort than everyone else. Like, I understand. I think the point you're trying to make is that Nintendo games in general are more polished, which I agree with. But I don't think that has to do with effort because, a God of War game can have just as much effort or maybe even more effort than a Mario game. But God of War, there's just so many points where the levee can break, as opposed to a Mario game.
Yeah, I mean, I'll concede that, and I would probably say even closer to what I was trying to say was they put a lot of love into their games. Sure. A lot of fan service, a lot of little Easter eggs, and Sony kind of does that too, but a lot of other games are worried about giving you a new experience, going down a new road, telling you a new story. Nintendo games just generally are about this game is fun. Beginning, middle, and end. So I think it's just that there's a higher consumer confidence with Nintendo games. Like, you know that you're just going to pick up a couple of Nintendo games and not have to worry about, like, there's definitely shovelware on Nintendo systems, but if it's a first-party Nintendo game or a Pokemon or whatever, like, you can feel pretty good about it. It's probably going to be a decent game.
Like, I mean, someone developing the next Mario game doesn't have to worry about people shitting on the story, as opposed to someone making, for example, an Uncharted game, for example, or a Last of Us 2.
That's true, but they also have to worry about like people complaining about like Mario feels floaty or Mario feels weighty or it doesn't control the way I want it to or it's lost its whimsy or any of these other things. Like, yeah, you don't have to focus that much on like narrative, but you have to focus a lot on art direction and hit these very Pixar. It's like saying like, Pixar doesn't have a lot of talent in its pool because it makes kids movies. Like, well, no, they just pace them differently. They're supposed to be different things. But like Pixar still has the best fucking tearjerker formula. I'm not sure what that fucking secret thing is, but Pixar can make you cry at will. They're assholes. I have yet to see a drama
I'm crying just thinking about this.
Really,
shit,
yeah, I
man.
get to see like a, you know.
Why did Woody leave them? Why did Woody do that shit? Toys and toys.
You guys are crazy, man.
Yo, you crazy.
Yeah.
So I think that's actually a pretty good analogy. I mean, like, Nintendo is the Pixar of video game companies. They're going to deliver, you know, quality product that is fun and light and what you would expect, and people can buy with reliability. I think that's really the key point there. That most people are just like, yeah, like, am I picking up the next Zelda game? Yes. Have I seen a single screenshot of it? No. Do I know I'm going to pre-order it? Absolutely.
Man, by the way, Sketch was not happy about that comment, Brett, about how they're the Pixar of gaming. He does not agree with that.
In what sense?
Yeah, Sketch, say why you. He's saying that they basically just keep putting out the same games over and over and over again. He said Mario's just a bunch of jumping on shit.
Yeah. Pixar keeps releasing new and innovative IPs all the time.
Yeah, he said the only good new Nintendo IP or whatever was Mario Rabbids. That's a Ubisoft game. Got to think about that one.
I played a few interesting games. Did I download that one or do I have it?
Yo, Brett.
Yo, what's up?
I don't like the tone you're taking on Pixar, man.
I like Pixar.
Pixar can do new and innovative.
They can, but they're like, how many Toy Stories have they made?
Yeah,
Four of them.
But
Yeah.
And they come out like every 5 or 6 years or whatever, you know.
The Toy Story movies are the things from when they have those movies that don't do as well. They always need to recharge it and go back to square one again.
Yeah, the shit that made them popular. Yeah.
There's been 4 Toy Stories in the span of 2 decades.
There's that bomb, the Good Dinosaur. Whatever happened to that?
Yeah, that was sad.
But there's also Coco. There's also Inside Out. There's also Up. There's also fucking Bug's Life. You know, there's.
I'm not talking shit on Pixar. I'm just saying they stay in their wheelhouse. I don't have a problem with that.
They did the best Fantastic Four movie ever.
Did they?
Yeah, man, The Incredibles is better than any Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah, no,
Tony would disagree with you on that.
Yeah, I didn't like those. That movie. I didn't see the second one. I didn't bother. I didn't like the first one.
That's Tony. He hasn't seen Spider-Verse, so his opinion doesn't count anymore.
Damn, Brian.
Yeah, okay, I'm not talking about movies, Tony.
Yeah, we can't.
All right. Anyway, let's move on, man. Where the fuck are we? To the next question here. Oh shit! No, got doubled up. I'm still working out the kinks here, people. Oh man, get ready for this question, Brian. Man. All right. Okay, this is from Johnny W. Uppercut. Do you guys think PC gamers are more entitled than console gamers? That's all he asks. Yeah, Brian, you start us off, man.
I'm more entitled. See, this is where things get interesting. Is it entitled to want your games to run well, or run in general good on your machine? Like, is that considered to be entitled?
Maybe in his eyes, I don't know.
Wait, are you arguing for or against PC games?
Well, I'm asking, like, do you count that as being entitled? Because it seems like that, to me, is like the major swaying point between yes and no. Because if you do count that as entitled, then yes, they are more entitled. If you don't count that, then I'm willing to say that no, they're not more entitled.
Hey, Brian.
I would disagree with that, and for a very weird way, Brian. Like, PC gamers they don't feel entitled for their game to work. That's one of the things that's kind of beautiful and horrible about PC games is half the time they don't just start right the fuck up. You have to adjust, settings in your driver and everything like that, and you have to curse and swear for 15 to 20 goddamn minutes before the thing loads the way that you want it to. And I respect that level of commitment. It's even worse with mods. Like, look, if you have to launch a game 15 times before it plays right, like, you really want to play that game. Respect. So I would kind of disagree that PC gamers expect or feel entitled to a game that runs correctly out of the box. There's been a long and rich history of that not happening.
Brian?
Can't argue with that. That's a fair point.
Yeah, Brett's point is really good. I agree.
I agree with Brett.
Damn, what's going on tonight, man? We agreeing with Brett? What the fuck?
because I was about to agree with Brian and mention something else, and then Brett came up with that, and I'm like, yep, yeah, you're right. I was gonna bring up like, do PC gamers feel entitled because, for example, one of the points that Brian likes to always make is that he feels like online play should be free, and I was wondering, is that part of the entitlement? I think it is, but in respect to the aspect where PC gamers don't always expect their games to play, kind of just destroys everything else. So yeah.
I mean, like on the free part, like there comes a point where yes, some things should be paid for, but something generally should not be paid for. And I don't think that being charged to play your games online is something that you should be forced to pay for, because I think that's just ridiculous.
Well, that's an entitlement. You feel like that's an entitlement.
No, but it's like you already are paying for it anyway, so why pay for it again? Like this is what I think should happen like next gen. Like if you are a first party game on a platform, then you shouldn't have to pay online to play the game on the platform. To me, it's just ridiculous. It's like saying that, hey, here's a game that Sony made only on its Sony machine, and yet you need to pay Sony to play the game online. It's like, really? Like, you're already paying for the machine and the game. It's not available anywhere else, so surely you should get something back. But no, you don't get anything back. You just get the same treatment as everything else.
Yeah, but Brian, you gotta also understand that people who play on the consoles do not feel that same entitlement that you do.
That's definitely for sure. I mean, people were real quiet when PSN Plus started charging people. And I said, like, look, this is stupid. Don't do this. And they all just rolled over. It's like, okay, cool. Have fun.
And they went up in price too.
Not even going to talk about that. And then Xbox guys, don't think that you got away with that. Like, you guys also introduced it as well, which is also pretty damn dumb.
I want to read.
They thought that they got away with it.
I want to read some of these comments from Goose. He goes, "Of course, PC gamers are. This guy got a Razer notebook with a RTX 2060 and thinks that piece of shit is going to be more powerful than next gen consoles. Get the fuck out of here." Here's the thing: there's a difference between entitled and smug and arrogant. We're talking about like you feel entitled to something. Like you're more describing like an asshole, basically.
Okay, let's flip the question on its head slightly. Like, what are PC gamers entitled to? Or what do people think that they are entitled to? And this is like more of a question for the guys in the chat.
Yeah, Brian, just one more time, repeat the question, because I want to make sure everybody gets this right. Because you guys, I expect you to answer this one. Go ahead, ask it again.
What do you think that PC gamers are more entitled to, or towards, if you wish?
All right, so
I can answer that.
Okay, yeah, Brett, you start first, and now. But again, I want you guys to answer in the chat too. Go ahead, Brett.
Control. They want their voices to be heard. They want to be able to affect the direction that the game goes. I mean, PC gamers are some of the loudest, most vocal, I'll say it, somewhat entitled gamers in the gamer sphere. But I also want to point out, PC gamers expect more out of their games. They expect more out of their developers because they tend to give more. They support games on early release from nothing but a barely playable engine demo and pay money into it for years and evangelize a game. So yes, at that point, of course they're going to expect that their early contribution, their voice, their play testing, all of this stuff is going to help shape the game, because you know what? That's what they're fucking told when you buy into early access. So yes, I would say PC gamers expect more, but they also put in more. They spend more money on their machines. They spend time tuning and refining their machines, clocking speeds and overclocking processors and shit. Like it's like console gaming is like picking up a Guitar Hero controller if a PC is an actual instrument that you need to tune. You put more money, love, and time into the building of the machine itself. You put more effort into fine-tuning the performance that comes out of it. You don't necessarily just start with everything fucking running. Like, you gotta give the PC gamers respect. Like, and that's before even any of the modding shit goes in. Like, they put more into it. They do. That's why they call us casuals, because it's not a hardcore lifestyle. Even a hardcore console gamer doesn't sit there and tweak the airflow on his PS4 to get optimal cooling so that he doesn't bog down in the middle of a graphic-heavy multiplayer session. We just don't do that shit. PC gamers do. And so they expect more, as well they should.
They spend a lot of money on their fucking video cards, so...
Yeah,
and they support a lot of games that literally have no fucking blood. How much... Brian, how rampant is early access in PC gaming at this point? It's almost become regular, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's a thing that I'm not too happy with. People just tend to abuse it now, so... The fact that it's open for abuse shows that there's that much interest in it.
So you're supporting, like I said, if PS4 gamers came together and rallied to have this thing made, and Sony put up a page and said, help us, greenlight some of these titles, which I think Microsoft tried but never really fucking worked because they didn't put any real games up there. If people were doing more early access stuff, and actually, that's a great example. You know why you're not seeing a lot of early access on consoles? Is because console gamers would not fucking deal with that. Every time they try it and they get a half-broken product, they fucking riot because they expect their game to be fully working and complete.
Yeah, all right, man. Let's read some of these comments here. All right, Goose. They think they're entitled to free online, cheaper prices on games, control of their games. For example, Windows 10 store doesn't allow for certain mods or level of access. Moreover, some, not all, are smug as fuck. That's one.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, but I've already said why I think that should be. Again, unless you're actually offering some sort of service in there, as in something that's actual tangible, then as far as I'm concerned, it should be free or part of the package. Cheaper games, they inherently should be cheaper because, again, you don't get... because, again, there's no platform payment on there. Like, again, with PS5 and Xbox, well, PlayStation and Xbox games, they're on the store, and Sony has to get their cut. So without that, then they should be cheaper by default, and which they are. So that's kind of an odd point. What were the other things?
Hold on.
That you're smug.
Yeah, you're smug. Yeah, you're smug.
Gamers are smug. They are smug as hell.
I mean, what do you expect them to do? Like, they have access to a stupidly large library. They get games at an amazing price. They can do mostly whatever they want with their games. Like,
Yeah, but they get the same
mods
content.
of like weird and wonderful things in. What was it like? Someone modded in like CJ in Resident Evil. Like how can you do that and not feel happy about it? Like, it's weird. Like I don't know. I just find that weird. Like, these guys put like lightsabers in Skyrim. Like, why not?
No, there's a difference though between feeling happy that you can do something and feeling smug against other people. Like, you can be like, "Hey, this thing is great."
On PlayStation, you can't do that on Xbox. Like, so yeah, you have a leg up. Like, it's an advantage. It's a pro, if you wish.
To a certain extent, I mean, you reach a point of diminishing returns in a lot of people's eyes when it comes to cost. That's like saying to some people, like, "Man, if you haven't seen Spider-Verse in 4K, you really haven't seen the movie." Fuck you. Yes, I have. I get the idea. Like, there's not a game that's a completely different experience that is released on both PC and console. Where, like, on PC, it's a completely different experience. There are games on PC that aren't on console, but I mean, it's. In my opinion, yes, maybe you get twice as much, but you're paying 3 times as much to get that twice as much. So,
initially, yeah.
Initially.
Yeah, because just to be fair though, yeah,
like a high bar of entry. Like, if you don't go for the high bar of entry, then you're not.
Yeah, but you reach a point of diminishing returns where, in a lot of people's eyes, putting that much more cost to get that much less return doesn't make sense. The basic principle behind min-maxing. And so you have people that you're like, yes, you expended all of these resources to get this awesome machine that you have to put all of this time into, but I get pretty much the same experience in my eyes for a fraction of the cost and a fraction of the time. You tell me who's the foolish one. And really, depending on what you want is how you're going to answer that question. So if you have people who just want to plop down, kick their thing on, play their game, they don't want to have to invest, $1,000 into a PC, then they're going to say that the person with the PC is making a foolish choice because they're putting so much more resources in to just get a little bit more. And that's why you have people say, like, is 60 frames really that much better than 30 frames? Like, to some people it is. To other people it isn't. And the people who it isn't, the very idea of spending $1,000 to upgrade to something that's not really that important to them seems borderline foolish. And then the person who has it is looking down their nose at the person, and of course that's going to breed, pretty much people getting pissy at each other. That's how I see the whole thing, at least.
All right, I want to read a couple more of these comments here from Sketch. He goes, is online free when you are already paying for it? He's talking about the bills, but he was talking about the extra charge. He also says, if it was not for PC gamers modding the shit out of Skyrim, how many copies would they have sold? Especially since I bought a copy of Skyrim on PS3 and PC, and to this day, the PS3 never had the camera fixed. No, the PS3 never had fixed the frame rate issue that made Skyrim on PS3 unplayable. So Sketch is for PC gaming here. He does. He also he plays Monster Hunter and on both PC and PS4. He loves both. All right, so we're getting some interesting stuff here. Hold on, Brett. There's another comment for you. He goes, but he doesn't have to. Brett, consoles are by design are plug and play. We don't have to worry about airflow, etc.
No, that's exactly my point. It's a you put in more.
Yeah. Say that again, Brett.
More.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
go ahead.
It's a very simple formula. If you put in more, you get more.
Yeah.
And you're going to have two camps. One that think that it's worth more. It's worth it to put in more to get more. The other group that think it's not worth it. I'm getting pretty much the same experience. There are people who buy the expensive tickets to a play and people who sit up in the fucking balcony. And they're like, I'm not paying 3 times as much just to sit 60 feet closer. It's a fundamental difference of ideals and deeming what's important and what's not, and if it's worth the extra cost. I don't think that the two groups are ever going to see eye to eye.
Yeah. Goose also says, I get that, but they don't have to be so condescending or patronizing towards others.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that kind of like whole master race thing is fucking just chill it out. I mean, look, we all have a PC. Like, most of us that have decent jobs could invest $1,200 into a PC, and like, it's not something that we can't do. Right? It's not an exclusive club that you have to get a fucking gilded invitation to get in, and they have a little fucking ceremony when you get there. Right? Like, it's not even hard to build your own PC. You can be a semi-novice fuck. You could be a complete beginner. Look up a YouTube tutorial and then take it into Micro Center when it doesn't fucking boot up the way you want it to, and you've still built your own PC. It's not that hard. It's just a commitment of time and resources, and I'm really sick of people acting like committing those time and resources somehow makes them more special.
Yeah, I do want to bring up something real quick here, because who said it? But basically, Sketch says that he feels there's less entitlement on the console side. I want to bring up a series of tweets that were sent to me today. The @ is blocked out, which is kind of annoying because it would have been fun to grill this guy. He goes, if you own an Xbox, Nintendo, or PC and don't have a PlayStation, or you don't support Sony, you will be blocked. I can't stand those who choose to support mainstream garbage. That sounds pretty fucking entitled to me. That's a pony right there. So it happens on both sides, but PC guys kind of get it a little bit more just because of the fact that, I don't know. I don't know if they're more vocal about it, but the way they say it, I don't know. It rubs people the wrong way, but there is entitlement. Yeah.
They look down on.
Oh, my bad, Sketch. He says console gamers are more entitled. Interesting. I mean, I think there's... Yeah.
It's kind of true.
No, I'm not disagreeing with that, I think there's just too much entitlement in general in society, but yeah. This guy is fucking crazy, man. He's like...
How do you define entitlement?
Yeah, because I think we're getting entitlement with smugness mixed up here,
Well, no, I mean, entitlement, it really is situation dependent, but like I am entitled when I say I expect when I pay for a fully priced product to get a fully finished product.
Yeah.
If I pay for a ham sandwich and I only get one piece of bread and some ham on it, I'm gonna be mad. It's not what I paid for. It's not the deal that we made. You have shortchanged me. I think that's kind of how console gamers are, man. Like they shell out the money and they expect all the services to be provided. And when you've kind of made that deal, is it feeling entitled? Like I pay my electric bill. I feel I'm entitled to have electricity because I do that. Am I entitled? I feel entitled. It literally I consider myself entitled to electricity. So by definition, yes. But are we using it in a derogatory sense? Like, where is the line where it becomes derogatory?
Yeah, because I think you're right. Like, you're using it like the actual sense, like the literal sense. I think they're more talking about it like, entitled means you're an asshole or something like that,
Yeah, like if you're a smug asshole, like that's a completely different. Like, there are PC gamers who are not smug assholes. There are console gamers who are smug assholes. There are a lot of PC gamers who are kind of smug assholes, but that's the nature of anybody who's deeper into the nerd woods than you.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you go to a Comic-Con knowing a little bit about comic books and you start trying to talk to people about Wolverine, they're gonna be like, he has like metal claws, right? They're gonna be like, it's adamantium, and then they're gonna kind of not talk to you about Wolverine anymore. Like it's just a natural human behavior. They've drilled down further into the hobby than you've decided that you want to. And so they're going to kind of think themselves better than you. The same way the kids at the anime convention are going to think they're way cooler than you because they know about some obscure anime that you've never heard of. And, I don't know, you like fucking Naruto.
Damn.
But it's all a matter of context and perception.
It's actually the opposite in anime. It's all about the new shit. Anime is like rap.
Oh, really?
Or hip-hop. Yeah.
Okay.
It's all about the new shit. Nobody ever looks back at the old shit. Somebody goes, me and Tony go do Megalopolis, and they're like, what the fuck's that shit? It's all about Naruto. It's all about, what is it right now? My Hero Academia and
JoJo's,
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
It's like they don't know like Basilisk or Ninja Scroll.
No, they don't know that shit.
No,
man. These kids don't know.
That hurts. It hurts.
These kids don't fucking know, man.
I don't know. It's all about the new shit. It's
all
about,
exactly.
It's like rap or hip hop. It's like one song is hot for 1 week, and you're like, yo, what's up? What about that song? Yo, man, that's old. It's only a week old.
Yeah. Violence and empathy. These motherfuckers don't know Rama 1/2, man. They don't know that shit.
Unless Rama 1/2 comes out with a new version of itself, they don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, let's not go down the anime rabbit hole, Carlos. Anime, man.
Yeah, God damn it, Carlos.
All right.
Sorry, guys. I'll try my best next time.
All right, man. Let's move on to the next question here. So this is an interesting one. So this is also from Johnny W. Uppercut. What does Amazon need to do in order to be competitive against PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, and now Google Stadia? Good question.
Are they doing anything? They're not
they
doing
are.
anything.
Yeah, they're going to do something.
Now, just get all of them.
Be relevant.
Be relevant. Damn.
It's too late. Too late.
They what are they doing? We don't even know what they're doing.
Twitch.
Well, I mean,
but aren't they making games? I thought they were making their own games.
They bought the company that did Killer Instinct, and they're not doing anything with it.
So they did a Microsoft.
well, dude.
Damn, son, it's like that.
I mean, they need to release games in some fashion. I don't know, like have a service, like kind of like Steam, or have something like Stadia, or have a console. Like, do something. I mean, you can't just come into Wakanda and proclaim yourself king, and then just want us to accept you as fucking king. You can't have that.
Is this what they should be doing? They are.
I don't know.
I mean, the question.
It's too late for them, man.
No. The question is, what can they do to compete against these companies?
Be new Steam. Be new Steam.
But that's can't happen.
Yeah.
Why?
It can't happen because it's already been done. We already have.
Yeah, but if you tie that into your Amazon Prime, fuck it.
That's what GeForce just did. GeForce Now just did that. So when you sign in to your GeForce account, you can link your stores. You can link your Blizzard. You can link your Uplay. You can link your Steam, and all your games are there and stream to your heart's content. Done.
Yeah, but Amazon is one of the biggest distribution platforms of real world and digital material on
Not
the
as
planet.
big as Nvidia
If
when
they-
it comes to gaming.
But you're gonna tell me that they don't.
community.
But you're gonna tell me they're not as big as Steam?
I don't think
Like,
so.
pull up the numbers. How many Steam users are there versus how
so.
Prime memberships
I
are?
don't think so. It's not about memberships. There's plenty of people that my mom has an Amazon. She don't fucking play games. She just buys stuff.
But that's the thing. You already have the computer. You already have the computer for you're buying shit off Amazon Prime on
You don't need a computer. We don't need a computer.
If there's anybody that can compete with Steam, it's Amazon.
Let me bring up a situation.
Actually, before that, I'm sorry, I need to cut you off. We need to give a huge shout out right now to Black Oni, our friend Will Wiggins, who we host all the time, right? All the time. He is now hosting us, man. So 12 of his people are joining us live, man. So thank you for that, man. Appreciate that, brother.
What's up, man? Thanks a
Party
lot.
people.
Yeah, he says, gonna make some food and lurk, but I love your faces and I miss y'all. Also, there were way more people watching than us, 13 people, but whatever, Twitch. Dude, it doesn't matter, man. Even if it's one extra person, we don't give a fuck. We appreciate it, man. Thank you, man.
Mhm.
That's fucking awesome, dude. All right, Carlos, continue, man.
Oh yeah. So there was an example that Tony mentioned a couple months ago where it's like he has Amazon Prime and he got an email. I was like, oh shit, I got Amazon Video too.
No, not an email, actual physical letter
Oh, that's right.
begging me to watch Amazon Prime.
They usually send emails like reminder because they can tell if you're not watching.
Yeah, because I don't watch that
you get all
shit.
the emails.
Yeah, I don't.
They also here's the thing, Tony. They also might think that you're over 60 years old because your mom lives with you.
Oh yeah, it's like that.
They probably think that you're Mr. Polanco and you're her husband. I used to get,
but they don't know about my family situation, though. You know.
Yo, man, I live with my mom, and I was getting like friggin' like all those things for old. When I used to live with my mom, I used to get all those things for older people.
Oh wow, really?
What was it? What's that the thing that discount card that old people get? What is that called?
Oh, the ARP card.
Yeah, I got an application for the ARP card. You shouldn't be able. You don't get that until like until your retirement age.
Yeah. Thankfully, I haven't gotten an ARP card yet. Shit, you know.
I was joking. Like maybe I should apply for it.
Yeah, but yeah, no, but it was like, yo, because they sent me those letter twice because I don't use Amazon Prime. I don't really watch any of that shit. You know, that shit is crazy.
Yeah, but that means that you already have Amazon.
I do. Yeah.
Okay, so you had Amazon.
Wait, say that again, bro. You cut off.
I said if there were already, since you already have Amazon, hey, there's a way that you can download digital games on the same platform that you're buying your physical games, same platform that you're buying your game figures, which is the same platform you're ordering your kitty litter from. Like, you would probably at least consider it more so than any other Steam alternative. I'm not saying that they're going to unseat Steam. I'm saying if anybody could, it would be Amazon because they're already everywhere.
Yeah. By the way, Goose, I just don't watch TV in general these days, bro. Because now people recommending me shows like I don't watch TV, man. You know, so you don't need to bark up that tree.
Dude hasn't watched Spider.
They're like, yo, Tony, you like Rutger Hauer, right?
Yeah, right. You know.
Yeah, yo, man, High Castle.
Yeah. By the way, this is off topic, but I remember somebody on Twitter was really upset that I don't watch TV. He's like, "You play all these amazing games. How come you don't watch TV? There's so much diversity." I'm like, just because I play games doesn't mean I automatically watch TV. They're not even the same. What are you talking about? You know.
Dude.
By the way, Glorious War. I am reading the Expanse books. Fantastic. I'm good with those. You know, I'm good. I don't need to watch a show. I'm good.
See, here's the thing to everybody listening right now. I'm on the podcast. I've known Tony for years. I have explicitly professed that Into the Spider-Verse is probably my new favorite movie, period. And I have had people back me up that while it may not be their favorite movie, period, it is that good. Tony still hasn't watched it.
Don't give a fuck. You know,
I just don't see why you don't want to watch.
Because I don't care. I don't give a shit. You know,
watch all this other garbage.
What other garbage do I watch?
A piece of garbage on it.
What happened? What do I watch?
Witcher. You watched all of Witcher.
Witcher was dope, though.
Holy shit! Rub a dirty nipple. That shit. Spider-Man. Oh,
you know.
My God.
Yeah. By the way,
white hair in the woods.
God,
Yeah.
you watched The Witcher?
Witcher was fucking badass, dude.
I'm gonna fly out there and slap you.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Listen. I'm like a cat, man. I go where I want, man. You can't tell me what to do.
Here's the thing about Tony. I've known him for years. Even if you literally give him Spider-Verse to sit in front, you have to kind of, in a sideways sort of way. In order for him to get him to watch Spider-Verse, he has to be at your house, and it just so happens to be on the screen.
Then I'll watch it.
That's the only way you're going to get it, because he will not, especially if it comes to something that he perceives as something as kid stuff, he will not go out and watch it.
This is true. Yeah. By the way,
that's the same thing about a Disney movie.
Have you ever watched something that you were against? Like, I'm not going to watch it. When you finally watch it, you're like, holy shit, I really like it.
Oh yeah, Planet of the Apes. I was like, the new one, because I was like, fuck.
So why do you think we're all lying to you?
I'm not saying who said I thought you were lying.
I
said those. Hold on, those words came out of my mouth.
And you think that we're lying to you?
No, I didn't say that. I said I don't give a fuck about watching that movie.
I feel that.
Okay, well, you're a fucking bitch right now. Then how about that?
Here's the
feelings.
The thing about it, the thing is, has nothing to do whether he thinks you're lying or not. It's something that he would not automatically seek out.
I know he doesn't like comics, but still, give this a shot.
You see what he's doing, right? You see what he's doing, man.
You see what I'm doing. You see what I'm doing.
So that's the thing. Like, it has to be. There's a specific set of things that Tony will specifically go toward, and if it's something that he perceives as something as childish or kiddish, he will not touch it.
Yeah, I stopped like after fucking. I think it was Incredibles. I'm like, I'm done with these CG movies. I'm good.
Exactly, because the only times he would ever go to see a CG film is because a lot of us were going out to see it, but then he'd just be like, I don't want to see it, but fuck it, whatever.
Yeah. No. Anyway, I don't know how we got down Rebel. By the way, I was kind of joking about the experience. I probably will watch that eventually because the books are really good. But I'm just not in a TV watching mode right now, man. Don't care, There's
so much shit to watch right now. It's like, where do you get the fucking time anyway? Right?
There is no time.
It's 2 hours.
Don't care.
He's not gonna seek it out,
and it's not 2 hours. It's actually longer.
Go over to his house and be like, "Hey, what's up? Hey, let's watch something." And then if you put it on, then he might watch it and be like,
"Wait,
hey,
that's my house, so I have to be at his house because in my house I can at least refuse."
Yeah, he could be like, "Yeah, don't put that shit on my TV." So so if he's over your place, maybe for New Year's, maybe for your birthday.
I have to say this though, I find it so funny that I get so much resistance for me not doing something. You figured I'd get resistance for me doing something. Fucking hilarious, man. You
got to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Join us.
Yeah. By the way, Glorious War says I should stop watching Marvel movies because they're kind of kid movies. I'm kind of done with those movies too, man. But for different reasons that I will not discuss on air. I'll take.
I agree with Adam. Like, I understand you're not a real Spider-Man fan.
What happened, Brett? Say that you could cut off.
I said I agree with Adam. I know you're not a real Spider-Man fan, but you should get a chance.
Yeah, I'm a fake fan. I've been faking it my whole life, man. Yeah, remember, reverse psychology doesn't work on me. I'll turn that shit back on you, man.
Thanks.
All right, where the fuck are we right now? I'm lost right now, son. Okay, that was the Amazon question. Do I even have the next one lined up? Let's see if I do. Ooh, speaking about cartoons, the next question is from Lego Bro. Why do most of the Xbox Series X games look so cartoonish? Even Halo Infinite doesn't look all that next gen. There's been this kind of running joke on Twitter about how a lot of Microsoft quote unquote exclusives are, cartoonish design, like Sea of Thieves, ReCore, so a lot of these games, like, they kind of have like more stylized look. So he just wants to know, why do they look that way now?
Oh, it saves on the budget. Yeah, you go with.
I think that answers that question.
Yeah, you go with a more simplified style. You don't need to do incredibly detailed models, and to be honest, a lot of those cartoony games age better than the more realistic looking ones.
There it is. True. Also, I was gonna say it's a double-edged sword because they also show more character. They're more visually distinct. Like, we went through the age where everything was hyper-realistic. Mm-hmm. Everything was 1,000 Shades of Brown. You remember that shit? Nobody liked it. Nobody liked it, and we're like, great, like, we've reached the pinnacle where games can look as realistic as life. So what, is every game going to do that? Then every game looks the same. So it's a way to set themselves aside, make themselves recognizable. I mean, Fortnite when you see it. Yeah. And it's cheaper, and it ages better. Like, there's no reason not to, for the most part.
Yeah, like if they made I mean, granted, at the time that's the best that they could do with World of Warcraft. But let's say, for the sake of conversation, decide to do a hyper realistic World of Warcraft sort of game, right from the beginning. By now, the game would look incredibly ancient and horrible. Where even the kind of polygonal looking graphics of the original Warcraft still aged pretty decently.
It has a charm to it.
Yeah. So I think that's what it is. It's because these games, Halo Infinite. What is Halo Infinite, right? It's a
Halo Infinite. Yeah.
It's like a what is it? What are those games? A strategy game, isn't it?
No, Halo Infinite's the next actual Halo game, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the
I
next
don't know
actual
why
Halo
that.
game.
I don't know why that game is considered cartoony, but I know why a lot of other games are doing
He's considering that because we haven't seen graphics, but I'm gonna assume Halo Infinite looks like every other Halo game. You know?
Yeah, it's gonna look like every other Halo game, and Gears in general. They've always been sort of semi fake looking, right? They've had big cartoony boots and shoes and stuff like that.
They're over the top.
They're over the top, but that's the language of the game, you know?
You know, it's also what people like and respond to. I had a very interesting thing, and I'm going to go off on a bit of a tangent.
It happens, man.
You do that sometimes.
And as I usually have a show in the background, like I do, 3 or 4 series that they kind of recycle while they draw. You don't have to watch it, you just kind of hear the gags. And I recently ran through Raising Hope again. And in the 4 seasons that they had, I started to notice that progressively each season, it got more and more sitcom-y. Not in the writing and not in the acting, but in the lighting, in the choice of colors, in the way that the shots were framed. Everything got brighter, everything got more saturated, everything got cleaner. The lines got drawn more clearly. People's personalities started to become almost more one-dimensional. In a good way. But I thought it was really very interesting. I started to think about, why is that happening? Well, it's because they're having input. They're like, yeah, I mean, the show is funny. It just looks, everything is kind of this dull color. So they oversaturate a little bit. Like, I mean, it looks good. I know you're going for realistic, but, it still kind of has this run-down feeling. So they brighten up and give people new clothes. Like, it's just little bit by little bit, people gravitate towards more than realistic. Like, at the end of the day, you don't want a video game that looks like when you step outside and see things. You want your greens to be greener. You want your blues to be bluer. You want the sunshine to be brighter. You want dynamic shadows. You want the best of what nature can be all the time.
Even film, in a weird sort of way, like even movies and film are hyper realistic. The lighting that you see inside of a film, like a good example is if you watch a film like Independence Day or any other thing, you notice that they're always backlit. No matter what angle they are, it makes absolutely no sense. You're doing a reverse shot and they're backlit. It's because they do those things for the sake of the film. Like, in other words, yes, it doesn't make any sense if you actually think about it, but they did it because of artistic reasons.
Yeah, and I think Gears is a good example. Like, you take a quasi-realistic style, and then you start playing fast and loose with it. You make changed a little bit, you make colors change a little bit, you saturate things a little bit, and suddenly, all of a sudden, you've revamped it onto it's too much, it looks like a cartoon. I mean, am I the only one who's been watching like an action movie, or even fucking like something like Transformers, and you're like, looks like a movie, looks like a cartoon for a minute now.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
there are times when you just overdo it a little bit, and suddenly it goes to cartoon. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because people like that overdone stuff. Again, it tests well. People keep asking for it. People want brighter. They want bigger. They want more explosive. They want more light sourcing. And after a certain point, they're like, well, this doesn't look real anymore. Like, I don't care. It's awesome. But the end result is you drift further and further from reality. So I think there's really something to be said for the appeal to these cartoony styles. Because really, it's just everything that people have been asked for turned up to 11.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm biased because I like cartoons. I like Spider-Verse because it's eye-bleedingly gorgeous.
This is me just throwing out there. I'm wondering how much of an influence Fortnite has had. That's a very cartoonish looking game, and now we are seeing more stylized games. So I'm wondering if
Fortnite,
you know what I'm saying?
Fortnite and Overwatch.
And that is also another one. So I'm wondering if those two games, which are hugely popular, may have had an influence on this.
Well, yeah, but they were influenced by Warcraft.
They were, yeah. Yeah, but again, that stuff just ages well. If you look at these games 20 years from now, they're going to look good. But like something like Call of Duty, even though it looks great now, the Call of Duty that's 20 years from now is going to look way fucking more realistic and better, you know? Mm-hmm. That's just how it is.
I mean, I wouldn't worry too much about the Xbox games. They're probably going to, they're gonna, like, they got games like Hellblade, which look incredibly realistic. And then they'll have other games that look a little bit stylized.
I do have to say this, though. I find it pretty interesting how Sony fanboys are making fun of these cartoonish games when like half of the PlayStation games look like fucking cartoons. You know?
Yeah, like to be honest, it's like what are you talking about? Gravity Rush. There's a bunch of games that came out around the same time that were all stylized, and to be honest, I appreciated that sort of idea that we all need to be in the hyper realistic world.
Yeah, but even going further, it's like you got Ratchet and Clank, you got Sly Cooper, you got Jak and Daxter. Like Sony has these type of games too, guys.
Yeah, but it's not even those ones. To be honest, the big ones are like Sony audience they're fucking hipsters. And like I like some of these platformy, cartoony, silent games like Ori and the Blind Forest, but they are total hipster, pretentious bullshit.
What, Ori and the Blind Forest?
Ori and the Blind Forest is Xbox. That's Xbox though.
Well, I'm just that type of game.
Isn't it also on Switch now?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
But there's a lot of those games on Sony which are as highly artful games, which are just cartoony, set to folk music. Like and I'm not talking shit on those games. They're fantastic games, but they're not any better than Ratchet and Clank. They're not any more pretty than Ratchet and Clank. And I get sick of having this argument. Why do we dismiss cartoons or things that are animated as not art?
But it is art.
It is art, and that's the thing. Like even down to like in the tattoo world, like people want like man, you do a fart in a jar, like it looks amazing. It looks just like that person. I was like, yeah, I had a reference in a fucking stencil. Ooh, yet you draw up like this crazy like bent perspective new school graffiti thing where like you're fisheyeing and bending perspective and throwing 3 light sources on something. People, I don't know, it's kind of cartoony, and you're like, bitch, do you know how much more effort this one was than the other fucking thing? Do you know how much more art this?
I'm going to tell you this, because most people, to be honest, do not... For some reason, people are more wild with you just copying a photo than actually coming up with a totally new idea.
I don't understand it.
It's the same thing that's happened for years and years. Even when, like, I think I forgot Rodin, or I forgot what was a portrait painter, right? In the beginning of his life, he started doing all kinds of, he did all these really hyper realistic, detailed looking paintings. But in the later on in his life, when he got older, he wasn't really able to do that sort of stuff. So he started doing a little bit more of a slapdash, sort of like an impressionist slight version, which is a little bit more stylized, and people didn't like his work anymore. Even though he was still catching the energy of the original of the person, but a little bit more stylized, and people didn't like it because they so wanted to have him continue to do fully fully realistic looking paintings.
I got a question about that though. If that's the case, how come the more cartoony games are more appealing? You know what I'm saying? Or nowadays, at least,
The one thing about cartoony games is because they're not trying to represent reality. They're trying to represent. Not trying to fully represent reality. They're doing a stylized representation of reality.
Yeah, but how come that's not accepted in like the quote unquote art world, but it is in games?
I think in games because every single era, everything gets better, right? And all the things that looked advanced and amazing, like realistic before, all look horrible the next generation.
Yeah.
Because you already see all the flaws from the previous one. So it's like you know what I mean?
Yeah, but also, it is interesting because
it's okay in comic books too. Like nobody wants hyper realistic comic books.
Well, I mean,
but at the same time, you also don't want super cartoony ones either.
For comic books, it's a bit different because a lot of comics are all like to lean toward a sort of reality, and a lot of times the cartoony styles in comics kind of get sort of lambasted. A person that has a weird sort of style, people may not like because of what has been established in comics.
Yep, they only get to draw dead.
They only can draw. Everybody's got to draw like Neil Adams or John Romita Sr. as opposed to kind of having a bunch of different voices. Yeah. And I think that's just the problem with the industry in general.
Yeah. By the way, I just wanted to toss this in real quick. It's just interesting how with games, it actually used to be the case that the more realistic super whatever games were the big ones. Now it's the more cartoony ones because there was a point in time where those were lambasted. You know.
You want to know why? It's also because of younger people. Younger people tend to react more to sort of stylized kind of characters rather than full on realistic.
Yeah.
Things. And who's
Fortnite's biggest audience? Children.
Who's Fortnite's biggest audience? Children.
Yep.
Who's Overwatch's a lot of Overwatch's biggest audience? They're younger audiences.
Yeah, they're on. I wouldn't say they're children, but they're definitely skew younger.
They're younger audiences, and also you look at a lot of the fans of anime. There are also a lot of younger people that are into that sort of stuff too.
Yeah,
because I just think in general a lot of younger people tend to gravitate toward more stylized like stuff. Yeah. Then as you get older, it seems like you're more interested in realism. At least for some people.
Yo, I'm not gonna read that comment. Violence and empathy. You're crazy. Yeah, this was a good discussion. I wasn't expecting. Because the question. Let's just be honest. It's kind of digging at Microsoft, but we got some good stuff out of that.
No, I mean to be honest, like I don't want to dig at Microsoft because I'm glad that they're getting games that look a little different. Because again, my biggest gripe with a lot of the Microsoft stuff is it's just like, hey, look, it's big muscly guy with a gun. At least that they're trying now to kind of give you a little bit more, and that's what I liked about the original Xbox. There was a lot of different voices that you saw in these games, and I want to see a lot of that too, in just a more of a range. Because I mean, to be honest, it's like there are some games that definitely I wanted to pick up for Xbox, but I'm like, come on, you guys can do it. You guys did it before. I know. The only thing is, it's like I think that what happened is just like back then, it's like you had like stuff like Blue Dragon and all those things, which didn't do very well for them. But at least they were trying to get that, and I think they need to still continue to do that, even if it isn't always financially sound.
Yeah. Just
because of having those different things. Granted, that's why if you notice, that's a lot of what Sony does.
I was just about to say that, like the big games like The Last of Us and God of War and Spider-Man, those make it possible for them to do the smaller games.
Yeah, they can. Then you have those little things. Then like you have stuff like the original weird shit like the original Little Big Planet or the Puppeteer.
Yeah, the Puppeteer.
Gravity
That's
Rush.
Right, yeah.
You have all these Mod Nation Racers. You have all these kind of weird, like it's like okay, you have their big superstars, and then you have your, you're like okay, yeah, these are actually good games, but
PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale.
PlayStation All Stars.
Nah, we don't talk about that game.
We don't talk about Fight Club.
Oh, man. All right, let's move on here, man.
Resistance.
Yeah, Resistance. Yeah, bring that back, man.
I would like to see them take Resistance on again.
Yeah. All right, let's get the next question here. Also from Lego Bro. This is interesting. How bad are microtransactions going to get in the next generation of consoles? I want to start this one off because I'm seeing a shift, right? Like we obviously had a bunch of microtransactions or whatever this generation, but now there's something I can't say it like you guys saw. I went to a bunch of events that a couple weeks ago. The tide is shifting, people. So I don't think microtransactions are going to be as bad as you may fear. I think they're still going to be around in some form, obviously, but it's not going to be as bad as you think because people have obviously rebelled against them, rightfully so. And I consider loot boxes microtransactions as well, which they actually are. So people are already rebelling against that. So I don't think it's going to be as bad. They're still going to be around, but it won't be as crazy. Manny, go ahead.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's a shift of that too, because I think what happened with the Star Wars game, that was the worst it could get. The Call of Duty games are probably and the FIFA Soccer, those are the worst points of where it can get. And finally, people got it and realized what they were doing, what these companies were doing to them. Essentially, rather than sort of giving you like, hey, you can get a little bit extra here, you can get a little extra there. They essentially took advantage of it so much because of how much money they could get to it. So in other words, they continue to drill deeper into that well until there was no more oil, and everybody realized they realized it was destroying the environment around it. That's what happened there.
Yeah. By the way,
rather than taking as much as you can, taking a little bit as you can, and try not to fuck everything else up around it.
Yeah. By the way, I have to quickly stop the show. Adam, how's the conversion going, man?
Fuck.
Yeah, I'm seeing this guy concentrating like a motherfucker over there, man.
It's just bullshit.
Yeah, can you talk about it publicly? I don't know if the fans want to know about it.
Well, it's just fucking RetroArch and Launchbox and Big Box. Big Box is a front end to RetroArch, and just getting everything to stream over to my Shield. And I'm doing I've gotten almost all the emulators to work, but for some reason my Neo Geo stopped working, and I have the BIOS and I put it in all the folders it says to put it in. It's not there, and then now my PlayStation 1 stopped working.
Oh shit!
So I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is going on with that. So I gave up on the whole RetroArch thing. So I'm going through other emulators, and I found another one, EPSXE, and I'm trying to use that. And then that opened up, and they played a game, and I'm like, oh, it's good. And then I went and ported that into Launchbox, and then when I boot up the game from Launchbox, then the shit crashed, and everything fucking crashed.
Jesus, man. All right, I'm gonna be checking on you momentarily. Yeah, not momentarily, but periodically. That's the word I'm looking for. Because Adam, you're always up to something with these projects, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Brett, what's your take on microtransactions next gen, man?
I think that customers have kind of put the fear of God into the big companies. They realize that they can make several $1 million off of loot boxes, but if they push it too far past whatever invisible line that they can't seem to fucking understand, then they pose to lose 10 times that amount by having the entire game just bond development costs just having to be written off. So
did you hear about Activision when they announced their earnings? They said they made more money from Modern Warfare without loot boxes than with loot boxes.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Because they've been doing those battle cards, whatever those things are, those battle passes. People have been buying that shit.
So,
nice.
Question on that though: do you think, like, this is a hypothetical right now? When GTA 6 comes out, because that is coming, you think you're gonna have shit like shark cards?
Of course.
So you think that'll be the exception when it comes to microtransactions in next gen?
Yeah, that worked too well.
I can see that.
I mean, here's the thing. I think that the line that gamers will tolerate is as long as you can earn everything in game. And, not having it like, here's your regular price and here's your premium price. Just having the ability to buy currency in-game is something that has always been around and will always be around. For those of you real old people who played Warcraft way back in the day, there was always the problem with gold farmers. You can go to third-party sites.
China, remember?
Yeah, you can go to third-party sites, Chinese sites. There'd be Chinese gold farmers. They'd farm and you could pay money for in-game gold, which I knew a lot of people who did. You kind of always went like, that. I mean, that's kind of bullshit, man. They're like, here's 200 gold. And you're like, I mean, it's not that much bullshit, I suppose. Let's just keep going.
I did it with FIFA. With FIFA, I did it. I used to buy from fucking people that were farming for. It was this dirty little part of gaming that everybody understood and looked the other way. Like, man, you buy gold. They're like, yeah, I got a fucking job, man. I work 50 hours a week. You're like, yeah, I guess whatever. Like, but I farm my ass off for 20 hours doing that. They're like, yeah? Do you work 50 hours a week? I mean, no. And then shut the fuck up and log in for the raid. Like, it was just a part of life. And I think that's where it began, and that's still stays, is the line. So I think GTA has been okay because all they're doing is selling you currency that you can get otherwise in game. The same thing that Warcraft did back in the day. The rules have never changed. Well, they keep trying to pull new tricks, but in terms of like what the audience expects, I don't think the rules have ever changed. Make all content available through in-game currency. Let some people buy that in-game currency if they really fucking want to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be honest, it's like I don't mind. I have nothing. There is nothing wrong with that sort of idea. Or in other words, you're able to get sort of certain things within the game. But then there's also like, obviously, there's those smoking gun things where it's like, okay, would you allow a guy to buy an incredibly powerful machine gun in a game that could literally switch the tide for them.
If you can buy it with in-game currency as well, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, everything has to be available to everybody, and like I said, I'm sick of seeing this fucking, like, oh, it costs, like, blah-de-blah amount of in-game currency or 250 premium points. Like, you can't have that weird disconnect. Like, people don't like that. They just want to buy, $100,000 or $1 million shark or 100 gold or whatever, and then you tell them how much it's going to fucking cost, and then they have that money in game, and they can do whatever they were to do with buy a full chrome car or grab horse armor, or who the fuck cares? But I think the thing has to be, like, you can trade real world money for fake world money, but that's it. Then you go to the same store as everybody else with the same lines. You get the same products for the same price. That's it. And that's why I think that's the only reason GTA has really been catching a lot of shit, is they towed that line exactly.
Yeah. Brian, Carlos, anything about microtransactions next gen?
About what, sorry?
What are your thoughts? Do you think it's going to get worse? Do you think microtransactions are going to get worse next gen, or do you think they're going to taper off?
No, I think they're, these companies figure out a way to, whenever someone makes it, like, these big companies like make a profit like that and then just sort of seem to lose that type of revenue, they'll just try to put it in, like, mask it into something else. Like, we've seen this the last 2 generations, and I wouldn't doubt it happening. They'll probably just release half-baked games from now on. If they can't blatantly do microtransactions and do the loot boxes the way they used to do it, and garner all this money from little kids that use their parents' credit cards, then they'll just do it another way. They'll release half a game, and then the DLC is another half. And they'll just figure out different ways to get the same money. It's all about the money, man.
I was going to say that, like, maybe microtransactions as we know them may not be as, like, ubiquitous, but they're going to try to get their money some way, so it'll be interesting to see how they try to do that, because they're going to try something. They
gotta have something.
Gotta have something, man, as Adam would say. Brian, what's your take on microtransactions, bro?
They're going to stay. They're going to stay and be a thing. As long as they exist in mobile games, and mobile games make stupid amounts of money.
Yeah.
Then these guys, again, we've all seen that these guys just chase the money and that's it. They don't really care about making a good product anymore. They just want the money. So as long as mobile games still make as much money as they do, then these guys will say, okay, cool, let's just copy their stance and do what they're doing and make their money. So yeah.
Hold on, Brian. I push back a little bit though, but like I see what you're saying. I don't disagree with the fundamentals of what you're saying, but we've already seen the backlash, like with loot boxes and shit. And again, there's some examples of microtransactions scaling back. Like, obviously they do want the mobile money and shit, but I don't think you can get away with that in console games anymore.
Oh, they're still going to. Again, as long as people just don't care that much, or it's not a big deal, as some people say, then they're going to just keep on doing it. Like,
but it is kind of a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see more backlash. I agree with you with mobile gaming. That shit is going to keep on going. Microtransactions are not going anywhere there. But like you've seen it on Twitter and shit. People are against microtransactions more than they ever been before.
But then again, as long as they keep making money, like, these companies don't care. Like, we've seen it with Bethesda. As long as they make a game and people buy it, they don't care how annoyed the clientele get. It's like, okay, they may have a bad image or something, but generally they don't give a damn. Like, they can say that they give a damn and say that they want to fix it and work on it or whatever, but we all know that they don't really care. They're just there to make the money. So as long as they put out a product and people buy the product and make the money back, then that's all that they care about.
Yeah, but then you got Battlefield 2.
It's a sad, hard truth.
Yeah, but yeah, you got Battlefront 2, Battlefield 5, all that other shit. But although Battlefield 5 had a whole other problem besides microtransactions.
just look at like how many games these days just have a microtransaction thing in it. I mean, Call of Duty, like the biggest game franchise at the moment, it's just microtransactions.
But
Like
the last one didn't. Adam just said that the game did well without that shit.
Yeah.
You know.
Me,
they still put it in there, and it's still going to be in there. Like I only start to believe this once we start seeing like games not have it in it. Because as far as I'm concerned, until that happens, then we can see it everywhere. Like yes, you'll get your outliers that don't put microtransactions in there, but then we'll see games that just have it just stuffed in there. I mean, look at GT Sport. Like they said that they won't have any microtransactions, and yet a year later they patched it in there. It's like what? It's like they will put them in there. Like we've even seen these companies go as far as they don't put the microtransactions in the review copies so that the reviewers don't notice it, and then when it's out to launch, that's when they come live. It's like
yeah, that's because there is backlash, and they're trying to avoid the backlash. Like at least
Brett, and that's the issue there. Like they're trying to do their best to get around the backlash, to get around it without actually stopping it. That's the problem. It's like it's not stopping the bear; it's just going around the bear so that like the bear doesn't quite get you hard enough. Like no, you stop the bear. They're not stopping the bear. They're not stopping the bullshit. They're continuing with the bullshit. They're just hoping that you don't notice it. They are sweeping it under the rug so that people don't notice it. And then as soon as they go, then voila, like put the crap everywhere. Like that's the problem, Brett, that I have is that they put it under the rug to hide it, and then as soon as everyone leaves, then they just pull it back out again. Like that's why I'm thinking that it's not going to stop.
but
Like if they wanted it to stop, they put it in the bin and that's it. End of story. But they're not doing that.
I think people are stopping. People are stopping buying games that they know are going to be heavy in stuff like that. Which is
They're
the
not
reason,
though. Like we've seen all these like the biggest selling games of the last 10 years have been Call of Duty, and the last 2-3 of them have had microtransactions like on the forefront.
Yeah, but
like,
as Adam just said, like Modern Warfare took out microtransactions, and the reason they took them out is because they were afraid it was hurting their sales, and they were getting negative.
Yeah, that was from the
publicity
remaster.
for it.
Like the new one.
No, not remaster.
No, the new one. We're talking about the new one. The new one. Yeah, the new
The
one.
new one has the battle pass.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, I do need to clarify this. We're not saying that microtransactions are going to go away. That's not happening. I'm saying, or the majority of us are saying, they're going to slow down. We're already seeing this trend.
We've hit the apex of them.
I think so. Yeah.
In my opinion, the jumping of the shark is Star Citizen. That game is literally nothing but DLC. Like they made the DLC before the game.
I put it in the chat.
That game is a fucking that's the biggest con in gaming right now, man.
Well, it's not necessarily
these guys are making more money not releasing the game, man. It's crazy.
I know, and history may prove that they actually wasn't a con. Even if it's not a con, I think that is the critical tipping point. Like the fact that kind of thing can happen is a sign that we've hit rock bottom, and I think we're starting to bounce back a little. They're going to find a way to do their money. My opinion is you're going to start to see more games as subscription or service. I
want to read this comment from Black Odie. He says, "I think they're transitioning into live service models." Yeah, I agree with that. See, as a matter of fact, I think he just answered the question. Because I asked, what will they do instead of microtransactions since they can't really get away with that? Live service shit sounds like a pretty good answer, Because again, they're going to try to get your money. That no one's questioning that. They're going to try to get your money. It's just a question of how they're going to do it. Live services, that's a pretty good way of getting it.
I think there's a magic number, and I think there's a problem that right now the market is still adjusting. It's kind of like people don't know what they are ready for. I think what the end result is going to be is something that like PC online MMO games have been doing for a while now. I think the solution has actually been there, but people really want to snub their nose up at it. You're going to have games where you can opt in for free, pay a premium price, probably the same amount, $10, $15 as like a Netflix kind of thing, and it opens up the game to be this big nebulous thing, and that's the game that you play. And you either have the choice to pay the premium, which then opens up everything, gives you the fast pass, everything is quick and fun, or you pay the free pass, in which you have to run the activity 5-6 times. Because here's the truth of it all: you are either the consumer or you are the product. If you're not paying them money, your job is to go through and help the people paying the money go through the missions quickly, progress faster than you, and have more fun. Because you're not playing at the theme park. You're volunteering there. You're not going to Comic-Con. You're volunteering there. You're going to experience it, but you're also going to fuck. And honestly, that works. If you have 50 hours a week to just throw into gaming as an activity because you're just laying around as fuck, play the free model. But if you're a busy working motherfucker, then pay the extra $15, $10 a month. To a lot of people who really enjoy games, $10 ain't nothing.
Yeah.
Remember when EA used to do the time saver?
Yeah, I remember
that you would pay for games.
Yep.
I know a lot of people bitch about that. It was like Need for Speed, you get all the cars and the tractors. Like, that's cheating. This and that. Cheating against what? This ain't a competition.
Yeah.
If somebody says, you know what, I don't have the time, I just want to have the nice Lamborghini and my Porsche, I'm gonna do all the tracks and fucking. You know, I'm sure as time goes on, if you're playing, you'll try it yourself. But if you can and you don't have the time,
well, I mean, you look at what's the game? Dante's Inferno also had the same sort of idea as well, where essentially it gave you, there was the code where the thing where essentially you could get all the orbs inside of the game, or the upgrade orbs, and upgrade yourself all the way to the max level, so you could just run through the game.
Yeah, man. I want to read this comment real quick from Black Owen. He goes, I do support them if they fine-tune the risk and reward. This new Modern Warfare method is probably the best example of a AAA game doing it. Broken in some ways, but a complete experience with more stuff to unlock through the Battle Pass, or as you just said, pay extra to get the skip. Yeah. I think they're doing a pretty good job of it. By the way, Black Owen was actually streaming a lot of Modern Warfare. So if you guys were watching our channel earlier, you probably saw some of that. And
there's a free version on the Battle Pass system. So, and that has the weapon. So it gives you more incentive to just keep playing, because then you learn stuff out of it. Yeah.
So again, microtransactions, or not even our microtransactions, but there's going to be a different way of them getting your money. And live services sounds like it's it. We'll have to see, man.
But there's not a problem with that, because.
Well, again, I should say this. None of us, actually, I can't speak for all of us, but a lot of us on this podcast are not necessarily against microtransactions as they are. We are against some of the ways they've employed them, obviously. But microtransactions in and of themselves are not necessarily an evil thing. It's what you do with them. You know what I'm saying?
I like the games as a service model.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, it makes sense financially, because if you're not paying, you're the product. Yeah. Which helps flesh out a creative and living world, which makes the game more sustainable. Shit, just lost it.
Oh, well, these things happen. All right.
It's gone.
All right. Well, if it comes back, we'll get you. Let's see. Next question. By the
way, it's gone.
And it's gone. Next up is.
Oh, wait, there it is.
Go ahead. Say it before you lose it.
I don't think that's a bad idea, because you can play 5 to 6 different games, find the one that you like, and then invest the money to do the premium account and pay $15 a month. It's almost the same benefit as trials, or betas, or demos. You guys remember demos?
Oh yeah, I remember. I
could play the first 20 levels of this game and if I really decide I like it, just pay and then boost my character and really focus on this month. And then maybe next month I'll go over and play this. Maybe next month I'll play that. It depends on who's making more content to earn my money. It's a good thing.
Yeah, next gen, I'm telling you, it's going to be interesting, man. All right, moving on here. Actually, okay, so next up is Tennessee Sooner. And your first question, bro, we've been asked this a few times. He says, what do you think will be the next fad in gaming? We've actually answered that earlier this year, I believe. So we'll skip that question and move on to his next one, which is... This is going to be interesting. Okay. He said, I saw rumors of the Xbox Series X being $500 and the PlayStation 5 being $400. Would that be the nail in the coffin after the ass whipping that would result from that? And this is coming from me, people. I've always said that I think $500 console is, a bad idea, just going off the history. I doubt the PlayStation 5 is going to be $400. That would be crazy. I think both systems are going to be $500. With all the shit that's going on inside of them, I don't see them, doing.
I think they're thinking about it.
I think they're thinking about it. I agree. Yeah,
just from the fact that they didn't announce the pricing, and they even said in their statement they're waiting to see the competition's numbers.
By the way, that's still a rumor too, Adam. By the way, that's still
that was their announcement when they said why they weren't doing an event.
No, that's rumors. That's still
speculation. But Adam, I agree with you. I think they probably want to sell it for $400, but I don't think they realistically can.
They haven't even given us an announcement on when this thing is going to be announced. So we all we know is a logo. Literally, that's all we know, and that it's backwards compatible and has an SSD, and it's x86 architecture.
Here's my question.
Go ahead.
Why is it,
Brett? I can't hear you, brother.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now we can. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Which is going to be more powerful?
It doesn't even matter. xCloud's going to beat all of them. That's going to be the winner. Just the fact that you can play anywhere. I'm going to give a shit.
Brett,
we all know that they're going to come out and they're going to compare base system specs, and we know that Microsoft made a big push to be the most powerful console after Sony was the most powerful last generation. Microsoft pushed to be the most powerful this generation. It didn't necessarily pay off. Which console is going to be higher tuned?
The rumor is rumor. But even though it's been fluctuating, because first the rumor was that Xbox Series X is going to be more powerful by 15%. Now it's shifted over to the PlayStation 5 is going to be more powerful by 15%. So who the fuck knows at this point? I think one of them is obviously going to be a little bit more powerful than the other one. Emphasis on little bit. I don't think it's going to be like a crazy disparity between the two. So ultimately, it won't matter. Ultimately, it won't matter because they're both going to be playing. But just let me finish. Both of them are going to be playing the same games. You know what I'm saying? Like third-party games. That's going to be the bulk of the games coming out. So it won't really matter because they're going to have that parity shit too.
It won't matter, but it will. It won't matter practically, but it'll be a number that's easily comparable. It'll be on every fucking website. It'll be on every goddamn forum where ponies are arguing with Xbox.
Brett, I got something for you, man. I got something for you. Xbox, what the fuck's the name of the, I'm forgetting now. Xbox One X, right? That's the most powerful system out there, right? You know what's beating it? The Switch.
No, I understand this. But do you really, and you and I both get this, but you and I also both know, deep down, admit it, they're still going to do side-by-side comparison.
Of course.
They're still going to argue about the numbers. They're still going to crunch the numbers and do big headline articles about which system is more powerful. So I understand that it doesn't practically matter because of parity. But in terms of marketing, it does matter, which is the reason I asked the question.
Oh, no, I understand. But again, look at all the marketing they did for Xbox Series X, and that shit didn't help Microsoft beat anybody, Nintendo, the weakest one, is lapping them.
Which do you think is going to be more powerful?
Which one? I don't know. Yeah. I honestly don't know.
That was a long road for an I don't know, Tony.
Well, I don't know. Fucking know. I'm not a fucking magician. Yeah, how the hell am I supposed to know?
Speculation? Anybody?
Bro, I don't speculate, bro.
I really don't even think it matters. It's going to be about accessibility, and that's it.
Well, that's not the question, Adam.
That's not the question.
That's the answer, but that's the answer.
Adam, I gave him that answer. He didn't like it.
Too bad.
I'll give you a straight answer, Brett.
Too bad. That's the whole reason why the Switch is winning. Because it's accessible. You can take it where it needs to go. That's it.
So I think the PlayStation 5 will be a little bit less powerful than the Xbox Series X.
Why?
Because the whole thing with, and Adam mentioned this, and I know it's just a rumor, but and this is all I'm basing off. It's all completely speculation. So if the whole rumor of them waiting on the price is true for any reason, then that means that they have a little more wiggle room to mess with the price, because they might not be paying as much into their hardware as the Series X is with Microsoft.
Or that theirs is more expensive.
And then they want to sell it at a loss.
They should always sell it as a loss.
By the way, I think we can all agree on that, right?
Sell it as a loss.
Both systems are going to sell at a loss.
But this would be a bigger loss than previous.
Yeah.
Let's say they were playing to
$250. Take it.
$600.
$250 for the first month.
Right? And then Microsoft comes out and says they're going to Now Sony has the hard decision to say, okay, let's say that they end up being 15% more powerful. They're like, okay, can we really push this as a premier system with 15% more power and exclusives for an extra $100 price point, or do we need to sell this at a higher loss to make sure that we're at the same price point and beat them on performance? There's a very realistic situation where the Sony machine is the 150% more powerful and explains the same behavior.
Yeah. I still don't think 15% is that much of a difference. But again, I know I'm sound like a fucking parrot right now. Again, Xbox Series X or Xbox One X is not beating out the Switch, the least powerful system.
Well, I mean, the thing about it, the biggest factor, not just because of it, is again, power doesn't really sell.
Games sell.
Sell.
Dude, but that's what I'm saying. Maybe that's the lesson Microsoft.
It could be.
And decide to release a less powerful system so that they could maintain a $500 price point.
Funny thing is that they had the less power system, and that didn't even help them.
That didn't work. Yeah, and they did have actually Manny. They had the less powerful system for $500. The Xbox One, the original.
Yes, exactly.
Well, yeah, the original question, and it asked, will be the nail in the coffin quote if the PS5 is $100 cheaper than the Xbox Series X? And my answer is no.
There won't be a nail in the coffin.
The nail in the coffin was way before that.
Oh shit!
Yeah, Microsoft, they're dipping their toes into the console game again with this one. I just think they're half their toes are out of it, man.
I see where you're coming from. By the way, the reason I kind of went with it in a different direction with that question is because if the PlayStation 5 is $100 cheaper, of course it's going to beat out the fucking Xbox. It happened this generation, so that's why I kind of wanted to take it into a more deeper direction.
I think the way Microsoft, their strategy, their plan is that if you want to be a traditionalist and have a console, this is for you, and it's a premium.
Well, that's obvious.
Yeah, let him finish.
What they're focusing on is services, and they're focusing on xCloud and Game Pass, Play Anywhere, do all that stuff. That's what they're focusing on because they realize, hey, that model worked for music, it worked for movies. Now it's about to work for games, and they want to be the front runners in that. And if they get xCloud working like it's been working, then it's going to be fucking amazing. And that's what people are going to care about. Just like the Switch. We all agree. Switch is the least powerful system out there. But it's that whole ability of playing these console and PC type quality games on the go anywhere. So people don't care if it doesn't look at 1080p and have HDR and all that shit. They just want that to play on the go. So when you have all these other games, they're ready within a service and your fingertips, whether it's on your phone with your controller or with the little attachment piece or on your tablet or your other devices, that's going to be like amazing. And that's what people want. And that's where I think they're going. And if people start bitching, but I want a console. All right, well, you got the tower that we made. Go get that shit.
The mini fridge,
exactly. But you don't need it.
Yeah, Manny, were you gonna say?
No, I mean all that stuff is obvious. That's where Microsoft is going. I think that they're just their console is just free again for people who are just like me, who are like. I don't really want to deal with the whole cloud and all that other shit, so I just play a console. It's essentially the opposite of what they were doing before with the Xbox, with the Xbox One, where they're like, okay, no, we're already closing the door on that one, right?
Yeah. There's only one thing that's holding all of these services back, and
infrastructure,
bandwidth.
Yeah, infrastructure. Yeah.
Well, on outside of their hands, they have no control over that. That's what's going to hold back. Because this shit, I mean, I was doing the GeForce Now, and it's great that I can have all this stuff stream over. But man, the gigs, this thing is just eating up data.
Well, you know what,
like Pac-Man,
Microsoft. I think Microsoft's sort of kind of mission statement this gen was, let's try to make a Roku. Something that's in something that's in everyone's, TVs or living rooms and stuff. Yep, that does everything. But now I just don't think hardware is probably 5% takes 5% of their attention right now, and the rest is put everything in the cloud, put the service on the cloud, and stream this everywhere.
Well, it's going with that approach of that they know what people are using. They're not dumb. They see people follow. They use their tablets all the time. They're using their phones. They're doing all. So, like, how can we get what we're producing on that? Not a half-ass version, but the quality that we have. How can we push it on that? And that's what they want to do, as opposed to selling you another device. It's like, hey, buy this, add this. Like, for what? That's why they never made a handheld.
Yeah. By the way, I just had an epiphany right now, people.
Oh shit.
You know, and I want you guys' takes on this, right? Because remember the Xbox One, the reason it's called the One is because it was supposed to be the one thing that you need, right? For your games, for your sports, right? Exactly. So, but I mean, I find it interesting that they're actually doing that now. It's the one gaming app that for all. I like, whoa, shit! I just realized that. So they're kind of basically they ditched all the TV and sports and shit, focus fully on games, and now what they're doing, they're trying to make it the one app that you have on your console, on your fucking mobile phones, on your tablet, potentially on your television. You know, you just have an app on your TV and stuff. So it is still the Xbox One vision, just more focused on games. I just realized I'm like, oh, that's actually kind of genius. I mean, and just one last thing, and I'm going to touch on this a little bit too. Again, Microsoft is not, or at least Xbox is not doing well against Sony and Nintendo, so they're going a different route, and it could potentially be very lucrative for them if they do it right, you know. And so far, because I've played fucking xCloud, yo, that show was proper. Man. It was seamless. I was playing Destiny on this shit, couldn't tell the difference. So, you know, I think they're doing something. I don't know if it's going to be good or bad, but it's definitely something interesting, you know, and forward thinking. Yes. By the way, all this shit I just said right now, praising Microsoft, everybody's going to forget it. You know how it is. Brett,
all they hear is Charlie Brown talk right now. They didn't even hear all that stuff.
You got to give Microsoft props, man. You have to. Damien, did you hear what I just said, motherfucker? Give Microsoft props.
He's not hearing anything. All he heard was he saw that you're wearing a Sony hat, and he's like,
no Sony hat tonight, baby. No Sony hat tonight.
I'll tell you one thing: they are all in on this because think about it, they put all the money buying all these studios to make these first-party games. They went and put all this money into Game Pass and giving all these developers big bonus incentives to put their games on the. Telling you, I end up with all the investment for the back end for xCloud.
Yo, Adam, you know what I find funny, son? Fucking xCloud is in beta and it's already better than Stadia, son.
Oh yeah,
crazy. Fuck Stadia, piece of shit.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I gotta ask,
yeah.
Why does everybody assume that Microsoft is so boned right out of the?
Wait, what do you mean boned?
I mean, everybody assumes is this going to be nail and?
Oh, okay. By the way, you're not talking about the guys on the panel because we're not saying that here at all.
No, yeah, I'm just asking this as a general question.
Gotcha.
Why does the world think this? Because having lived through more generation launches than I probably want to admit, it fluctuates wildly. Like people are acting like they've never seen a generation where it swings from one of the big companies to the other one wildly. Like I've lived through several. Microsoft had a huge boondoggle, and they essentially launched a brand system, and then limped it along for the rest of the generation. They have a chance to try and reset that counter now, when everybody is upgraded. I'm not paid to know this shit now.
I think it's because a lot of people aren't forward thinking. They're not seeing what Microsoft is doing with this xCloud and with the games. They just see consoles. They're still thinking of boxes and installs and like, oh well, there's more people on PlayStation, so they're just gonna stay on PlayStation. I don't see them jumping. Why would they jump? You know, that's what people think.
Even if it's just consoles, even if you're not taking it like that, everybody seems to have forgotten Microsoft can build a fuck of a console. It can build a terribly engineered one, or it can build ones that are fucking amazing. They've done it before. It's been a while, but people want to act like, oh, they don't know what they're doing. And the reason the last one sucked is because it was supposed to be something else, and they ended up cutting out half of its features. And that's like being like, yeah, my VCR isn't a very. No, it tells the time, but there was so much. All of it got disabled. It was the worst situation for Microsoft last generation. Quite honestly, one of the better approaches for them was just kind of like, look, let's try not to spend too much money, limp through the rest of this generation at the halftime, and fucking launch a new generation a little bit better. and you can see that they didn't really do. A bunch of studios that's been dumping money into it.
Yeah, that's what I said.
They have some new studios. They know how to build a machine that is focused on gaming should they choose to. They've proven that by having the most powerful console this generation.
Yeah.
They've been trying so hard to catch falling plates. No wonder it's been a catastrophe. That doesn't mean that things can't, like, everybody forgets how much the playing field is leveled every time. New
generation means a new playing field, and that's something and I've said this for years now. Like Microsoft for this generation, they were already done years ago. Their hope is next generation, and I think if things like xCloud take off, and it has a chance to think about it. Look at the Switch, right? Why is that thing so successful? Because it's portable, right? If you could take fucking Halo with you on the go, that's a big selling point. Let's just be objective about it. That's a big selling point now. So I think they're actually doing something very, very smart. Like, again, and I'm just speaking for myself because I don't really care about portable gaming, but I'm looking at the sea. It's like I see the tides. I'm like, okay, this is where things are headed. So I think Microsoft is definitely on the cusp there, and the fact that they're focusing on games now, none of that fucking bullshit with TV and sports and stuff. That's gonna help them out big time. Whether that'll be a huge success, or more interestingly, whether that will get PlayStation people to come over, I'm not sure about that, but they could draw in a completely different audience, So
also,
we'll have to see.
Need to see this as just like they see it with a sport team, and when they get a new coach, they're like, oh, there's a new coach and he has a new staff, and all right, well, maybe it'll go in a new direction. At least that's how people see sport teams. But for some reason, when it comes to these type of things, they're like, oh, no, well, they always screw up in the past. There's a whole new crew. Uncle Phil wasn't in charge back then. His peoples weren't in charge. Hell, Bill Gates was still running the show. He's gone. You know what I mean? It's like there's a whole new regime behind it now.
Yeah. It's ironic that you bring that up because these guys do treat their consoles like a sports team. But they don't make that logical leap,
Exactly. They don't make that logical. They're like, oh, well, this is how they always do it before. I'm like, yeah, and all those dudes are gone.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, put this shit on record. The end of the beginning of this generation is going to look similar to generations before. By the end of it, it's going to be unrecognizable. I'm saying that shit right now. You're going to be like, what the fuck is going on here? The whole gaming landscape is going to change by the end of the next generation. I mark my words on that shit.
Dude, Microsoft, people forget that Microsoft...
Brett, say that again. People forget Microsoft what?
Can be a heavyweight.
They can be. They were before.
Yeah, they just saw like a fat, drunk, out of shape Mike Tyson, and they're like, I can take that guy. Like,
yo,
you caught him on his worst day, bro. Like, Microsoft can and has been a juggernaut in the gaming industry before, and Nintendo has. If Nintendo has shown you anything about a comeback, they can't count Microsoft out. They're clearly hungry.
Yeah. By the way, off record, Mike Tyson, as he is right now, I still wouldn't fuck with him.
Nope.
Have you seen him, son?
You can't forget the skill. He could be out of shape, but the skill stays forever.
No, there was this one video that was posted like 2 weeks ago. Yo, I couldn't even see his hands, son. So fast, Don't fuck with Mike Tyson, man.
Dude, I wouldn't fuck with him. Like, I wouldn't punch him if he were dead asleep.
Did you see that video? There was a video a few years back. Well, more than a few years back, but of him, someone filmed where somebody stepped to him in a bar fight, and it was a few guys, and he just beat the shit out of everybody.
Of course he did. Mike Tyson, man. What the fuck do you expect?
People step up. They don't give a shit.
It's crazy, man. All right, moving on here. Let's get this. All right, so these questions are from someone named E-Man. I don't know who that is.
Guy from Craigslist.
Emin, man. Yeah. So he wants to get my take on some of the topics you guys discussed on the last show. So the first question is, what do you think about Phil Spencer's recent comments about PlayStation and Nintendo not being competition for Xbox? Those comments make perfect sense to me because they're not competition anymore, right? He sees the competition as Google Stadia and fucking Amazon, whatever the fuck Amazon's doing, right? So basically, what do they have in common, those two? With streaming services. What is Xbox trying to do now with xCloud streaming service? So that's why he sees them as their actual competition. Like, obviously, we want to say, oh, he doesn't see them as competition because they know they can't beat them. It's funny to say that, but let's just be real. It's like they're not even focusing on it anymore. Like we've been saying on Throwdown for years. Xbox wants to turn, Microsoft wants to turn Xbox into a service, and we're already seeing that happening. So they're going to go, they consider other services as their competition. So it actually makes perfect sense that he would say that. Like, again, some people, made fun of Phil for saying those comments, but yeah, PlayStation and Nintendo, they're doing the more traditional route. Xbox is trying to do something different. So that's why he's saying that.
Tony?
What's up, bro?
I just had a thought. Does anybody know that the chipsets built in smart TVs, the new, like, let's say the newest generation of Samsungs that are coming out, right? Is that a hefty enough system to run an xCloud streaming service off of?
Dude, it's again because you don't actually need like an actual like console chips and shit.
No, I'm saying
$50 phone.
TV by
Yeah,
itself.
yeah, he just said it. It's on a $50 phone.
It runs
yeah.
on a $50 phone that you could buy at Walmart.
You do not
I've
need
seen it done the tests.
Yeah,
It
you
can
don't
run.
need high end like technology to run this shit streaming.
I mean, it works like any other streaming service where it's essentially throwing a video onto your TV screen, Netflix or anything like that.
Yeah, Brad, you don't need anything extra, bro.
Sony had, people forget that Sony did have the PlayStation Now running on their Sony televisions.
Dude, as a matter of fact, I already foresee a future, not too distant future, where you buy a TV and there's already an Xbox app and a PlayStation app on it. Well, I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. You just buy a controller and you're good to go. And Manny, you said this on the last show. You are a guy, you prefer your physical games, right? But even you know where shit is going.
Yeah, I know where it's going.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as I don't like it, and I'm in general on this in this situation, I'm in the minority of what the future is going to be doing. So
yeah, but you see what's happening. Like again, I said this on a previous show when these things were first announced. Let's just say 20 years from now, right? You're a 20-year-old. You grew up with streaming games. You're gonna be like, why the fuck would I buy games individually, right? If you already just have carte blanche to everything, why would you want to go back? Again, I don't like it. I like the traditional shit, but even I see where things are going.
That's what people say now about movies and music. They like, if I really want the movie, I'll just buy it digitally, so that way I have it on all my devices.
Yeah. No, but the thing is, they don't even say that now. It's like, I can just listen to it on Spotify.
No, I'm talking about movies.
Yeah.
The only thing, but the only not so cool thing about it is
you don't own it.
It's that number one, you don't own it, and number two, it makes all of the content more disposable.
Oh yeah, totally.
But the bright side is, and this was with when Brian had the the other Xbox service, right? You essentially started trying games that you didn't necessarily think you would try.
Game Pass.
He was playing Rage.
Oh no, I just like Game Pass because I go play all the games that I wanted to buy and play, but Rage
wasn't one that you were really like, oh yeah, I need to buy Rage.
Oh yeah, it was a game that were on the fence for me. Like the point where it's like, if they're there, I'll play them, but if not there, I won't miss out. So since they're on Game Pass, it's like, oh, okay, they're there now, so let's check them out.
Yo, Brian, did your Game Pass run out already?
It did not, Carlos. And my gosh, this year is like the year of Brian surprises. I bought 4 months of it.
Excuse me?
It's all because, and the funny thing, it's all literally because of Halo and Gears of War. No joke. And actually Forza as well, technically speaking.
Halo, Gears, and Forza. Halo, Gears, and Forza. Halo, Gears, and Forza.
Legit, no joke. Okay, so my one is expiring on the 27th of this month. So I'm like, okay, I have like 20 days left to play them all, right? So I'm like, there's no way I can play through all of Halo, Gears 1, 4, and 5, and Forza in that much time. I must play like 20 hours a day, and I have work to do. So I'm like, how about I try and find a way to like extend it? So I went online, checked different sites, and I found out that if you buy 3 months of Game Pass normal for Xbox, it will convert to 2 months of Game Pass for PC. So I'm like, let's see if there's any deals on, and there were. They're like deals on Game Pass for Xbox at like a third off, a third of the price. So I got 2 of those. So hence I got 6 months of Xbox Game Pass normal, which translated to 4 months of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. So yeah, I have bought into it. But I think that's going to be just enough until I know what's going to happen with next gen.
Nice.
So yeah, Game Pass, does his job. You know, Uncle Phil's happy.
I was gonna ask you when your birthday is. I was gonna buy you a Game Pass for like a month or something.
Oh shit!
But I mean, you already.
You still can.
Yeah, you still can.
Yo, Brian, when's your birthday, man?
April.
Oh, I'll get it next year then.
Excuse me. Over there.
His Game Pass is still gonna be up in April.
You know. All right, man.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Food Simulator's free right now, Brian.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to Brett's podcast, man. Throw
Yeah,
that
man.
out there.
Shout out to the podcast.
You know.
You hear
All right.
me?
Yeah.
Food Simulator.
Yeah, I got it. I always get all the PSN Plus games because I'm paying for it, so I might as well just.
Oh, good, good shit. Let me get mine right now.
I haven't even.
Damn, Joaquin Phoenix won for playing the Joker.
Oh, that's 2 for 2. Two
Ruined
Jokers.
my outro, man. Damn it.
Oh, I didn't know. I just got the notification.
Don't worry, Brett. Brian, you still got Parasite. That shit won too.
Yo,
Yeah,
no,
but I
no,
wanna
yeah,
make a
yeah,
point.
stop with the Oscars talk here, man. All right, let's move on here to the last question of the night, people. Dun, dun, dun. Also by E-Man, you know.
Yo, man.
Hey, people want to hear my You want to hear my thoughts, man? All right, there are a lot of changes happening in the coming generation. Lots of well-known folks throughout the game industry leaving their established positions. Only just recently, Rod Ferguson left as head of the Gears franchise, and soon Dan Houser will leave Rockstar Games. What do you think is going on? I think it's, I could throw some stupid bullshit conspiracy theory, but I'm not. I think it's just we're seeing a new generation coming. So I think a lot of these guys are kind of reevaluating their positions and shit. So they're like, all right, time to move on. Dan Houser, I don't know what the fuck's going on there. I have no idea. No idea what the hell's going on. But with Rod Ferguson, Gears of War 5 came out. He's probably like, you know what? I've been doing this shit for a long time. Let me move on. Same thing with guys like Gio Corsi or whatever. Like, that have moved on. They probably like, okay, I've done this. I've been successful. Let's try something new, like another challenge. But Dan Houser, I have no fucking clue. I have no idea why. Like, you founded Rockstar, bro. No
He's
fucking
rich.
clue there.
That was literally
What
his
does he
company.
need? He's rich. That's the thing. It's people keep to forget that when you have that much money that he has, there's no need to do anything after that.
Yeah, but
It's
look
like,
at
all
Ninja,
right.
man. He has like $40 million. He's still doing that
He's
shit.
young. Dan Houser's not that young.
Well, he's not viejo either, you know.
Dude, it's the same with actors. Like, you a lot of times you're like, whatever. They made a shit ton of money.
Exactly.
And
And they retired.
Yeah, but there's also actors that are old as fuck and they're still
Macaulay
doing it,
Culkin
you know?
retired at 18 years old.
Yeah, he did because he made all that money, you know.
Exactly.
So maybe Dan Houser's that way. Yeah,
They don't work.
yeah, but
He could just be. An
I am not going to
investor.
speculate
That's
on.
it.
Yeah, I'm not going to speculate.
He
I
can
have
be a
no
venture
fucking clue.
capitalist. He doesn't have to do anything in front of anything. He just put money on projects. That's all.
I mean, it's pretty adorable, the stuff you guys are talking about. But this guy's never going to do anything more successful than what the fuck he just
That
did.
is
man.
true. That is
No,
true.
but that's the point. Is like he could very well realize I'd be like, there's no way I'm doing something. I have enough money to live for 3 goddamn lifetimes. I'm just gonna go on perpetual vacation. I don't need to do this anymore.
Yeah. You
All right.
really don't.
Obviously, I don't know any fucking multi-millionaires, but I've always noticed that the general trend with rich people is the only things they have left to do in their life is make more money. So,
Nah,
See,
not all of them.
that's
not all of them.
That's
I'm
the
talking
also
about.
retired.
I'm
The also
talking about generally what I've seen is like that's the only pursuit you have left because you have all this money. What else is there to get? More money.
That's
Yeah.
my point. There are 2 types.
Yeah.
They're the kind that make money and then disappear and you never think about it. And then they're the ones left who are in constant
Oh,
pursuit
I see
of
what you're
money
saying.
and power.
Yeah.
So you just don't think about the majority of them that are like, fuck it, I'm retiring. I
Yeah.
think the minority of the same with actors. A lot of people act to get moderately successful or musicians like make money and then they're like, I'm kind of done. I
See,
have
like,
enough money
yeah,
to
like
live
for
on."
example, that's what I would do if I made like millions. I'd be like, see ya, you know.
Dude, like what? It's exactly what Notch did. Like what's Notch's new project? Nothing. He has enough money to buy a country.
Yeah.
He's
Like-
not going to do any more video game development.
But at the same time, like you said, there's the other side. The guys who are just like, $100 million. Let me try $200 million. You know?
Yeah, and then you get those people, or and it's tough to tell who are those people versus who don't save and spend their money.
Yeah,
So,
who
like, there's
blow
some
it all.
people
Yeah, like
that
MC
just
Hammer did.
Hammer all their money.
Yeah. So, but again, I really don't. In general, I don't like speculation, so I don't know what the hell's going on with Dan Houser.
Well, dude, there's a lot. I mean, think about it. Like, think about how long we've been reporting on these.
Yeah.
Like, there comes a point when you've been doing something for 25 years, when you're like, you're either ready to change to a position where you, or you gotta retire and do something else. I mean,
no, I get it, but I just don't personally feel comfortable speculating on his, what's going on in this guy's head. That's what I'm saying. I don't fucking know. You know?
oh yeah, I mean, yeah, not anybody.
We say the last part. Not anybody. What now?
Not any one particular person, but if you're talking about,
Yeah, I'm talking about this guy specifically. Who knows? You know, maybe he just wants to golf for the rest of the days. Who knows? Yeah. All right. So that's gonna do it for us here. So a couple of things before we end here. It's okay. First of all, okay, because you guys saw we employed something new tonight. We have the questions up there, and you guys seem to like it. And the thing I wanted to say about that is, obviously you guys like this show. You guys enjoy what we do, right? And I'm not saying this to criticize you guys, but I feel that sometimes you don't tell us enough about whether we're doing good or bad, right? Remember, this show is for you guys. We always want to make it better. So if you have any suggestions, please let us know. You know where we are. We're on Twitter. We're on Discord. We're everywhere, even us personally and stuff. So,
Yep.
obviously, if you like the show as is, you don't have to say anything. But if there's anything, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you want to suggest anything, please toss it by us and we'll consider it, and we'll probably do it, because remember, this show gets better with new ideas and stuff, and you guys are part of the process. So I just want to encourage you guys to do that more often if you want to, because again, this show's for you guys. Just want to get that out there.
If you guys want us to talk more anime, we'll do it.
Yeah, I don't know about that. We have our rules here, but yeah, if it's reasonable, obviously we'll talk it over.
Some of our regular ask questions regularly, actually quite a bit more accessible than you may think.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Yeah, again, so just keep doing that. Again, we got our Discord there. It's always popping in there. We're on Twitter. I'll at the end of the show, I always give you the fucking link, so you already know that. So there's that. Also, I have to do this now because it's live. I want to congratulate our friends over at Gamertag Radio. They have now launched episode 1000, where they interview Phil Spencer, people.
What?
Yes, that is a big historic episode. They asked them a bunch of cool questions. Episode is available right now. So go over to Gamertag Radio. That's the Twitter at Gamertag Radio. It's going to be linked there. And of course, stop by and say what's up to Danny, Paris, and Pete. Great guys, man, doing big things in the industry. So shout out to them. Really proud of those guys, man. It's fucking amazing.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Paris. I was hanging out with Paris last week, man. We were having a lot. He was, he gave me a little bit of a preview of the thing. Like telling me some of the questions he asked. And no, they didn't ask what the price of the console was. People, they're not gonna ask that shit.
Yeah, because he can't answer that shit.
Of course, yeah. Because by the way, I need to say this. Those guys, before the interview went up, were getting so much shit saying, "Oh, you guys didn't ask the right questions." Mm-hmm. Think about that. The episode hadn't aired yet.
You didn't ask the right questions.
By the way, what they should, obviously they were going to ask how much the console is going to cost, but they should have asked, "Are you going to wait for Sony to announce the price before you say it?" That would just be,
that would have been hilarious.
Yeah. So shout out. Yeah. So shout out to them, and also just a little bit of a note here. No more interruptions from me, people. I'm going to keep hosting for a while now. Things just kind of got a little weird and stuff, but yeah. But again, we don't lapse here on Throwdown, man. Episodes will keep coming no matter what. What's the old Post-it shit? It's like wind, rain, or snow will not stop us. You know what I'm saying? That fucking old saying.
Yeah, we shall prevail or whatever.
Yeah, it's some bullshit. You know what I'm talking about. I just pulled a Carlos where I fucked up like an idiom. Whatever.
Yeah.
All right, so that's gonna do it for us, man. So thank you for watching and listening. Leave us your questions in the Throwdown Discord server, and we'll answer them on next week's show. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Follow us on Twitch, Twitter, and the Facebooks at Throwdown Show. Links are located in the description below. Once again, our show is Tony Polanco, and tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
I'll see you later, guys. And next week will be next week on Tuesday and Wednesday, we will be premiering the 2 episodes of Throwdown Draws, where I drew Die Hard Man from Death Stranding. I painted it and all that stuff. Just so you know, that stuff is actually a little bit of a preview as to what I'm going to be selling at C2E2 the following month, at March 1st.
Very interesting, and potential preview for something else, but we will talk about that some other time. All right, Carlos Romero.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Man. Adam Vale.
Hey, have a good week, everybody.
Brett Murdoch.
Some people just want to watch the world burn.
And Brian Manjoma.
Remember, people, Vanquish and Bayonetta coming out 18th of February.
My man.
Right.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Vanquish and Bayonetta remaster, bro, coming in a bundle, son.
What is it? Excuse me?
Yeah, on PS4, PC. I know it's already on PC. PS4 and Xbox One. Get that shit.
Dude, Bioshock
Oh.
Ultimate Collection free now.
Yes, there you go, man. Get games. But Vanquish,
Did you know that, Carlos?
excellent fucking game, man. I love Vanquish.
It wasn't on the Wii U, so I didn't know.
Mother stole my joke.
Yo, man, I know how you work.
Carlos, you too slick, man. You too slick.
Yo, by the way,
Like
Tony had
that
mac and
butter.
cheese and grits.
Oh,
Go to his
yeah.
Twitter to get the
hold on.
reviews.
Oh, yeah. By the way, I should say that. I will say this. So grits, nah, not feeling the rainbow. Actual real mac and cheese, I see
Did
what
you
you guys
have
are.
baked macaroni?
Brett, I see what you guys are talking about now, son. That shit was
Brett.
fucking delicious, man.
Brett, it wasn't just any ordinary mac and cheese. This was truffled mac and cheese.
Ooh. Oh, nice. Was it baked?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Brett, I saw the light, man. I saw the light.
I'm telling you, bro.
I took
Yeah.
a picture.
Like,
I'll post
this
it on
is
this.
not Kraft macaroni and cheese.
No.
Whole different ball game.
Yeah, but I'm sorry right now because I knew I know I'm going off topic, whatever. So on Twitter, I put out a tweet, which my opinion. I was like, yo, I tried grits for the first time. I'm not feeling the rainbow, son. People were getting mad at me, but one thing I noticed with all the replies, oh, you didn't have grits with this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, so I need to put all this shit into grits to make it taste good. That means grits is pretty fucking bad. So none of that for me. Listen, I don't like oatmeal, man. Fuck that shit. It's like you're eating baby food, And also, I'm a New Yorker. I'm not from the South, man. So none of that for me, man. But that baked fucking mac and cheese, give me that shit all fucking day, man. Delicious.
And this is where Brett says, wait till you have mine.
Yeah, right.
Oh, dude, you haven't had
Oh,
Guinness mac and cheese yet.
you know what's gonna happen, right? Brett, I'm gonna go to his house. He's gonna make me that mac and cheese, and we're gonna watch Spider-Man.
That sounds like an afternoon, bro.
Yeah, let's do this, man. Let's do. All right, man. So I will see you all next time. Later.
Deuces.
God damn it.
Later, guys.
Motherfucker.